This is the NBC Television Network.
Shrimp to make your mouth water.
Red Lobster brings you our Shrimp Festival.
Make your spirits fly.
11 shrimp specials the way we know you love them, starting at $6.95.
Make you flip with every tip of every shrimp you try.
From our sizzling shrimp scampi to shrimp and lobster to our huge shrimp feast. Now at the Shrimp Festival, only at
Red Lobster. We know how you love seafood.
Who has more big, beautiful almonds than any other popular chocolate bar? The new Mars bar.
For the best things in life.
One great little reward just got a little greater. Ooh, Alberto does it again.
With my European styling hairspray.
The ultra-fine mist sprays on evenly for super hold that won't let your styles go.
New Alberto European hairspray with ultra-fine mist.
For new super hold.
Oh, wow, does that pizza smell good?
My nose wouldn't know, it's too stuffed.
Have a Halls.
Halls Vapor Action penetrates deep to help your stuffy nose feel clearer, while Halls soothes your cough.
Halls Vapor Action works.
Now let's work on some pizza.
Just the two of us.
That great dentine taste makes it nicer to be together, because not even mouthwash can freshen your breath better than when you're chewing dentine.
Just the two of us, you and I.
Eddie, this is Mrs. Butterworth. Hello, Eddie. I love your syrup. I made 2 syrups, regular and light. Mrs. Butterworth. And they're both delicious
Because they're thick and rich and buttery.
she really talks better than you.
Mrs. Butterworth's is twice as thick as maple syrup, so it pours slower. And it's made with grade A butter. Mrs. Butterworth's, regular and light.
Annie, are you sleeping again?
No. I'm watching Magnum again.
When it comes to action and adventure, come home to Tom Selleck. Come home to Magnum on Channel 12.
We got a one pepperoni with anchovies. What are you doing?
I'm watching Magnum.
He's smooth, he's sexy, he's hot.
Lady, you want to watch your machine as soon as I'm done watching Magnum.
Come home to Tom Selleck. Come home to Magnum, weekdays at 5.
Come home to Channel 12.
Sometimes your skin gets so dry you can scratch the word dry right on your hand. And the drier your skin, the more you need Vaseline Intensive Care Lotion. It soothes and starts healing dry skin on contact. That's today's Vaseline Intensive Care.
Gina!
Gina!
There's nothing like coming home to the homemade taste of spaghetti with delicious ragu sauce.
Miss Pink?
It's delicious.
It's great to be home.
Ragu spaghetti sauce, that's Italian.
And now some typical consumer reaction to an exciting Pizza Hut offer.
Yabba-dabba-doo! 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 Yabba-dabba-doo.
Yabba-dabba-doo!
That's right, it's Flintstone Kids glasses. Freddie, Betty, Wilma, and Barney. Just 49 cents with any Pizza Hut pizza. There's a different glass every week, so you can collect all 4 for your kids. What do you say to that?
Yabba-dabba-doo!
Flintstone Kids glasses, only at Pizza Hut.
Tonight on the Hot Miami Vice, a federal agent's gone wrong to save her son's life, and Crockett's in the middle. Guest star Elizabeth Ashley's turning on the heat on Miami Vice. Then on Stingray, it's a deadly war game when a kid is set up by the military. Can they get away with murder? Not if Stingray has anything to do with it. Tonight on NBC.
Domino's Pizza delivers quality. It takes fresh baked quality to avoid the Noid. We keep the Noid out and all the quality in. So avoid the Noid. Call Domino's Pizza now for hot quality pizza. Domino's Pizza delivers.
White Mountain Citrus Cooler with no added sulfites and no added preservatives. White Mountain Berry, no added sulfites, no added preservatives. White Mountain Orange, you guessed it, no added sulfites, no added preservatives. The fact is, White Mountain coolers are the only leading coolers with no added sulfites and no added preservatives, which makes for a wonderful White Mountain range.
A-doo-dah. Well, the boy genius. You trying to find out why Kentucky Fried Chicken is America's favorite chicken? Then pay attention, son. Folks just love going to the Colonel's because no one else makes chicken with that special blend of 11 herbs and spices. Any of this getting through to you, son? And of course, no one else's chicken is finger-licking good because nobody else knows the Colonel's secret formula. The secret formula! Kid's too smart for his own good.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right.
What makes the Formula One World Champion such a great race car? Computer-programmed fuel injection. Dual overhead cams. 4 valves per cylinder. What makes this such a great street car? Exactly the same technology. The Acura Integra. One of Car and Driver's 10 best, exclusively at your Acura dealer.
I put these beauties aside for you. Everybody's eating more vegetables.
That's why Campbell's added more vegetables to their vegetable soup.
Pasta, sure. Rigatoni, tortellini.
Pasta's not just noodles these days, so Campbell's put seashell pasta in their minestrone.
Cheese? You love cheese on anything.
So Campbell's gave you nacho cheese soup dip. As your tastes grow, Campbell's is listening and growing with you.
Campbell's soup is good food.
Try Campbell's dry soup in a box, too.
Felicia, if you play Aretha and George, I'm going to play Club Nouveau.
That's fine with me. I'm going to play Janet Jackson and Luther Vandross.
And I'll play Run DMC and Huey Lewis.
And fine, and I'll play Invisible.
And I'll play...
Roomies, we'll be right back.
Hi, Rich Hall here. Party crashing. I see you guys are having fun with these new Flintstone kids glasses you can get at Pizza Hut for 49 cents each. I really love that Freddy glass, Ryan.
Dabba dabba doo!
What do you think, Renee? Pretty bedrock, huh?
No, real bedrock.
What's your favorite glass, Patrick?
Wilma!
Pizza Hut has a different glass every week, so it's 49 cents each. Mom and Dad, you could collect all 4 for your kids. Any comments?
Dabba dabba doo!
America's best loved imported wine, bringing you all the best of times. America loves its wine. America's best loved imported wine.
New Clear Eyes has more for your eyes. Clear Eyes not only removes redness fast, its extra ingredient moisturizes to leave eyes refreshed, relieved, and sparkling clear. Clear Eyes removes redness and moisturizes too.
Whatever your sports preference, you can find it every night on 12 News. With Ben Hamlin and Wally Bruckner, you can expect the best on 12 Sports. The right combination.
Welcome, everyone. I hope everybody's having a great week so far. Oh, man. I gotta be honest, folks. I'm definitely not. I'm definitely tired. Put it that way. I drank last night, and when you almost never drink anymore, you really feel that shit the next day. And I went to the gym, so like I'm just exhausted. Um, so full disclosure, folks. Um, I'm gonna try to get more into a cheery mood as the evening goes on, but we've got a lot to talk about. We're gonna talk about first. We're gonna talk about Sarah Boone. Apparently she wrote a letter. Now this is a pure reaction live, folks. I have not read the letter she wrote to the judge. I have not read the burn after reading letter from Roberta Laundrie to Brian. And I have not watched this this exploitation of Don Wells by Dumb No Thinks Investigates. So I'm gonna go over all of this stuff. Yeah, totally. I'm not looking for sympathy, I promise. I absolutely did this to myself. Just if you guys notice that I'm a little sluggish, I'm just explaining as to why. Um so we're gonna start off with Sarah Boone. Sarah Boone is the lady who killed her boyfriend by locking him in a suitcase. She like recorded it. I mean, I hate laughing at something like that, but dude, let's get real. Like, what was this dude thinking getting in the suitcase? Because I don't like to victim blame, but how did he get in the fucking suitcase to begin with? So she's pleading not guilty. And I'm drinking Diet Pepsi. She's pleading not guilty, as I understand it, and she wrote this letter to the judge, and I have not read this yet, folks. So let's see what it says here. My pre-trial conference, I found out, is now on 3/31/23, which you said previously, for whatever the reason, I am unable to attend any of these conferences. How am I supposed to know what's going on and what you are reporting and what is being discussed between all other parties except me? The main component in my case, especially if we in a still established attorney-client relationship are not in regular or proper communication with one another. Why can I not be in attendance and participate in my PTC? And I guess that's her pre-trial conference is what she's referring to. How else am I to be kept updated in real time and actual minutes during the conference if not there myself? I have no way of knowing anything if not updated by you, my attorney, and I do not have a computer to view myself. Huh. I thought this letter was to the judge. Help me understand, please. How can Court TV, different news channels, and even professional YouTubers attend my pre-trial conference and I cannot? How? I'm sure one of the other parties can help me with updates since they will all be in attendance for me. Also, should you be unable to provide, why can I not be included in my PTC for my case? I'm sure also everything from the conference collected from everyone else will be vomited all over the internet, just like everything else has been, non-permissively, and can add even more dysfunction and ignore once to my prejudgment already made by the world in the great court of public opinion. I would like to be a part of all of this, seeing as it all pertains to me. Please, it is my right. So many questions, concerns, piling and piling up from not being. Okay, so this is a different judge, or this is a different letter. And then there's another one here, Mr. Bankowitz. This is my third letter trying to reach you over another almost 6-week period now. The same 2 phone numbers you're giving me still do not work. The one number, your personal cell, goes to voicemail directly and doesn't even ring. I've had this number since you personally gave me back in July 2022 upon your appointment as my attorney by the court. Not working still 8 months later. The other number rings and rings and rings until it automatically disconnects me. Not working either. This also is the number you continuously tell me it just needs to be activated. Please activate. I even in my desperation to speak with you had an outside caller try to reach you on my behalf, who tried calling your office 3 times over the last almost 3 weeks, leaving voicemail each time with no reply. We're both hoping you are able to reply to her email she sent today as another form of trying to, I don't know what that word is. Oh, communicate with you. I've exhausted my resources and again, just sitting here waiting for you to contact me in whatever way you are able and as seen as possible. Please, time-sensitive matters are at hand, as I have made you aware of previously, verbally and my letters. I knew you had attempted to schedule minimum 15 minutes. Okay. Welcome, Don, to the hoity-goity. I was thinking the same thing, Dietz. I think that's interesting. I was thinking more along. I mean, this is she claims that she was abused by her boyfriend, by her spouse who died in this suitcase. But I mean, I don't think that there's any evidence of that, at least not as of yet that we're aware of. So I don't know. I mean, I guess that's her defense, is that she's an abuse victim. But I find that kind of interesting. Because it sounds a lot to me like, I mean, I guess she's writing her attorney, and her attorney gave her 2 phone numbers that just don't work. So she's probably blowing up this dude's phone on a constant basis every time she can use the phone in jail. And but I see, I'm not an attorney, so I don't know exactly why she's not allowed to attend her own pre-trial conference, and why she wants to so badly. I mean, I find that odd, because Letitia Stout didn't even want to attend court if she didn't have to. She didn't want to. So I'm wondering if there's some narcissism going on here. Like, she mentioned Court TV and other reporters, And she's like, this whole thing's about me. Why am I not allowed to be there? So I'm getting a vibe of a little bit of narcissism, or the need to have some level of control. The thought of not being included in that particular proceeding seems to really bother her. Agreed, Lex Lux. Agreed. She deserves fair representation. I just don't know if she's not getting it. You know, maybe she's just bugging the shit out of. I mean, if he's a public defender, you know what I mean? Like, he's only getting paid so much to represent her, you know? I find that interesting. He's only getting paid so much to represent her. So, I mean, right, just call me hen. I don't know either. I don't understand why she's not allowed to be there. Or maybe she's wrong. You know what I mean? It's possible that she is allowed to be there and she misunderstood and got bad information saying that she's not allowed to be there for whatever reason. Yeah, I contacted in regards to the glitch of likes, because I know I didn't get that many legit likes for this stream. So I tweeted Team YouTube, and Team YouTube responded and said something. I forgot what they said. Let me see what they said. Okay, so it says this is they responded. This is a normal part of how YouTube verifies that the metrics are real and accurate. You might see views, likes slow down, freeze, or adjust during this process. More info here, and then they sent me a link which I haven't looked at, and how engagement metrics are counted. YouTube engagement metrics, views, likes, dislikes, and subscriptions reflect how many times your YouTube video or channel has been interacted with. These metrics can be an important measure of your video or channel's overall popularity. We want to make sure that your metrics are high quality and come from actual humans and not computer programs. It takes our systems some time to figure out which views, likes, dislikes, and subscriptions are legitimate. It may take time for your metrics to appear in our system during the first. So I still don't understand. Are they saying that they do it? That YouTube does the Oh yeah, there's a glitch in the chat too. There's something wrong with the chat. Yeah, see, some of you guys are really following this case, this Sarah Boone thing. One of these days, like before the trial starts, I'm going to end up going over her interrogation. I'm going to go over the interrogation. I'm going to go over the video. Because it's interesting to me. Because every time that Sarah Boone, like whenever she's like in the video, she's accusing the guy, he's begging to be let out of the suitcase. He's begging to be let out of the suitcase, and she's filming him, and she's drunk, and she's filming him and saying, he's begging to be let out, but she's saying that this is what he gets for abusing her and things of that nature, which is kind of strange. Yeah, I'm gonna go over the interrogation video another day. I'll do a whole thing on it. But I mean, yeah, that wasn't. I mean, I don't want to read too much into these letters that she said that I just wanted to go over them. I didn't. I'm not seeing much to those letters. Seems like she's just not getting a lot the kind of communication with her attorney that she wants. I mean, it's his job to represent her, but I mean, he's going to know how much he has to interact with her and how much he doesn't in order to represent her properly. But it's a complicated defense. Like, I mean, it may not be that difficult to convince a jury that she was abused. I mean, I'm thinking that the jury is going to. I mean, again, this is like any other case where they don't have to prove her innocence. The state has to prove her guilt, and the state has to convince the jury beyond a reasonable doubt that she killed this guy with malicious intent. I mean, because that's a tricky thing. The fact that she's abused, that could go both ways. That could go in favor of her as a defense, but it could also be a motive. It could be used as a motive, I think, if presented correctly by the prosecution. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Let me do something here. I'm curious what you guys think. Okay. Yeah, I'm curious what you guys think about Sarah Boone, how you guys feel about her. Yeah, I think she just got drunk and passed out. You know what I mean? I feel like she just got drunk and passed out. Right? Wow. How many votes? So 41 votes. 95% of you think that she's totally guilty. She belongs in prison. Right. She lied. That's not a good look at all. Yeah, I mean, that's another way to look at it, that she tortured him. I mean, she knew she was inflicting, she knew she was punishing him. He's begging to be let out. You know what I mean? Like, he's begging her to let him out of the suitcase, and she's basically like, nope, ha 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 ha, I got you where I want you, basically. And she's trying to say that it was just a game they were playing, but she was talking about being abused. Am I trolling you? I don't, not that I know of. Yeah, good point. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't think she intended to kill him, though. Yeah, that's what I think. I think she just went to sleep. What? The neighbor heard a loud noise and they are assuming it was her throwing the suitcase down the stairs with him in it. Jesus. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that she's innocent. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that. I'm not making excuses for her at all. You know, like she sure as shit seemed malicious in the video. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, all that shit's there. This is hold on. I'm gonna find something to play here, but God, I hate streaming law and crime because they're just such douches about it. Shout out to my supporters. What? That's 4 weeks. I'm trying to hold on. Screw it. This is 3 hours. Screw it. I'm just gonna do it. All right.
Sarah Boone, the woman accused of murdering her boyfriend by zipping him up into a suitcase. In another series of handwritten letters sent from jail, Boone calls out her defense attorney, arguing she hasn't heard from him in months as her case inches closer to trial.
I mean, it's this guy, I'm sure, didn't deserve to die at all, but he doesn't. I mean,
also sends a message to the presiding judge saying, quote, "My case has turned into an unnecessary witch hunt," and later asks, quote, "What's your cut?"
For everything you've done to me. Sarah. For everything you've done to me. Sarah.
yo, look at how fucked up her carpet is, though, dude. Like, how drunk are these people? Like, that carpet is just fucked up.
Sarah. You. Sarah. Stupid.
She's laughing and saying, fuck you.
Sarah. That's my name. Don't wear it up.
Florida prosecutors say the 44-year-old murdered her boyfriend.
Like, regardless, I just don't even like that girl, man. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm just gonna be honest. I just don't like her. You know what I mean? Like, she's clearly an asshole when she drinks.
42-year-old Jorge Torres Jr. in February 2020 by putting him in a suitcase and leaving him there to die. At the time, Boone told investigators she and Torres had been drinking and playing a game of hide and seek. After that, Boone says she went to sleep and woke up hours later when her phone rang. That's when she says she found Torres unresponsive. Officials say Torres was zipped inside the suitcase for hours. Shocking cell phone video was later released showing Boone speaking to Torres while he was inside that suitcase. As Long Crime Network previously reported, Boone sent multiple handwritten letters to her court-appointed defense attorney, Frank Bankowitz, asking for a clearer path of communication. In a story Lawn Crime Network posted in March, Boone wrote, quote, "I've exhausted my resources and am again just sitting here waiting for you to contact me in whatever way you are able and as soon as possible, please." At the time, we noted the letter was seemingly missing a sentence or possibly even pages. In one of Boone's most recent letters, dated April 6th, she seemingly references the missing pages and a report, writing in part, quote, "The enclosed letter I sent, 3/22/23, was scanned incorrectly on the clerk's website, only the first and third page, so I am resending with nothing on the backs to avoid confusion, and were missed previously. Thank you for reading my entire letter and uploading correctly for all the world to read. Also critique and judge wrongly and incorrectly as usual."
See, it sucks because, like, I'm thinking this guy now. I don't know. I mean, he didn't look, like a clean cut law abiding individual necessarily. Like probably drank quite a bit himself, but it sucks because regardless of the fact, he deserves justice. Regardless of what happened, he deserved justice. But I mean, I don't know how I feel about, like, oh, Cleopatra, calm the fuck down. You have a nice day. Everybody, they always do that. Have a nice day. Like, relax. Everyone here is aware of mental awareness, bro. Like, why are you coming in here and then, like, talking down to the whole chat like we don't know nothing about mental awareness, bro? Like mental health awareness. I mean, like, she needs to, yeah, like, I mean, just getting drunk. I mean, if somebody kills somebody in a car and they've been drinking, they get charged, right? So what's the difference here? She got drunk. It's not an excuse for what she did. She got drunk and completely disregarded the dude's physical well-being. So she needs to be locked up for it. Period. She does have, yeah, I was surprised I was able to read her handwriting. Yeah, like she needs to do some time, because again, I don't think that she meant to kill him. I mean, why else would she be videotaping it? I feel like she was videoing it so she could show him later on. That's why she was laughing. Right, exactly. Yeah, you don't get to come in here and start whining about mental health awareness. She's a fucking drunk. You kill somebody in a car because you're fucking drunk, you get locked up. Period. End of story. Like I said, I'm not sure she intended to kill him, but she definitely needs to do some time for what she did. She definitely needs to pay the piper. This guy, regardless, he deserves justice. He's not immune to due process because, I mean, let's just say he was a piece of shit. That doesn't cancel out his right to due process, so she did not have the right to take his life. And I gotta wonder how the hell he got in that suitcase in the first place. You know what I mean? Yeah, we'll do that. Happy Life, Jay. I have not watched the interrogation. I like to do reactions with you guys, and I've been saving it. There's just a lot to go over tonight. Well, I want to be careful, you know. I want to be careful because I am asking the question, like, how did he even get in the suitcase to begin with? But I want to be careful to not like victim blame either, you know. But I mean, if I willingly get into a fucking suitcase, I'm partly responsible, aren't I? I mean, I'm a grown up, you know. I'm a grown up. So, I mean, I'm partly responsible. Hide and seek. Get the fuck out of my face with that.
Ignorance is bliss. Boone goes on to write, quote, I wonder what platform of popularity I will be featured on next, and how much wasted time, effort, and thought will be put into mutating and grossly exaggerating my case information, racketeered to the World Wide Web. SMH or shaking my head. She ends that portion of the letter saying, shout out to my supporters, with a heart drawn next to it.
Yeah,
she signs the letter, hopeful.
I didn't go over that. So that's an interesting part of that letter. Shout out to my supporters. I mean, she totally thinks that she's a rock star. I think that the whole reason she's making a big deal about being at the pretrial, because she mentioned court TV being there and reporters. She wants her 15 minutes. Yeah, perfectly imperfect. I hate throwing that word around, man, but it sure as shit sounds like it, doesn't it? Shout out to my supporters. Like, what? Dude, like, you killed a guy, bro. You're not a hero. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure there's just a whole shit ton of abuse victims out there who are just looking at her like she's some sort of like white knight hero, and that's really twisted. Because I understand if somebody like kills somebody in self-defense and they were being abused, I get all that. I get being supportive of them, but I mean, this is not, no, this isn't that. I mean, she's on video laughing at the guy. And the guy was in distress and she knew it. Exactly. You're playing hide and seek. How are you claiming abuse? You know what I mean? Like, how are you claiming self-defense if you're playing hide and seek? What? That's such a weird defense. And the fact that she spoke to investigators without an attorney present the way that she did tells me a lot about her too, because I'm not doing that. No way. No way. I'm going to be like, are you charging me? Because if you are, I need an attorney. I'm not saying anything without an attorney. Yeah, we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow, folks. We'll go over the interrogation.
Well, no matter what. In Boone's most recent letter, dated May 15th, she addresses both the case's judge, Wayne C. Wooten, and attorney Frank Bankowitz. She writes to Judge Wooten in part, quote, my truth needs to be heard, and it is my right. Do not give me rights expecting me not to fully utilize them. I voted for the president and governor while here in jail, and stop violating what I've been trying to utilize or less the value of my capabilities and opportunities. I am not apologetic in any way for being unobservant.
I guess if you're, because she's not convicted yet. You don't get, I mean, I don't know. Does that work? Is that do you still get, if you've been convicted of a felony? I don't know how that works. If you get convicted of a felony, does your right to vote get revoked? Because if that's the case, I mean, I guess it would make sense that she could still, but I'm surprised that she could vote while she's in jail. Like, how is she capable of, how is she allowed to do that? How, okay, so everybody is confirming that you're right. If you're convicted of a felony, it gets revoked. But she's not convicted yet. But at the same time, she's locked up in jail, though. How is she? They bring in. Do they bring in? You can do mail-in voting if you're not convicted. Okay, yeah, I guess because COVID did that. Because of COVID, we were able to vote in the mail. Yeah, Shelby, I'm thinking possibly bullshit, you know? And jail has to provide ballots, really? Do they really? I've never even heard of that. Yeah, my education is is really shining through here, folks. Or lack thereof.
Observant, hardworking, above average, non-stereotypical inmate. I can only imagine sadly how others not as outspoken as myself have been and are being mistreated, overlooked, and dehumanized. She writes in all caps, get it together. She
Wow.
continues, quote, when I've tried to voice my legitimate concerns to you in the courtroom 5 times total in 3.3 years, and in my letters to, quote, save it for my next attorney if told anything at all. Do tell, Your Honor, which attorney? According to the letter, Boone.
So, like, yeah, man, she really wants control. Yeah, she's annoying. I agree. She's being a total Karen. Like, that sounds like something bullshit Betty would write from jail.
Boone's representation has switched 6 times for both irreconcilable differences between the attorney and client and conflicts of interest. In this portion of the letter, she writes out a list of statistics for Judge Wooten, pointing out court-appointed attorney Frank Bankowitz has answered 0 of her phone calls over more than 7,000 hours of representation. Boone later writes, quote, are you allowing/enabling my constitutional rights to be continuously violated? Boone then writes out what she calls a history lesson for everyone, referencing amendments she feels are appropriate to highlight. She continues, quote, why are you allowing numerous...
I wonder if she's right. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if she's been, if her rights are being violated. I wonder if Bankowitz he's a court-appointed defense attorney, and I'm wondering if he's not representing her to his best ability. I mean, annoying or not, she has a right to representation. She has a right to speak to her attorney, but how often is the minimum amount that attorney has to speak to his client? You know what I mean?
Case safety and protection elements to be breached, violated, manipulated. Why has a gag order never been implemented? My case has turned into an unnecessary witch hunt from the innumerable violations of my case details being leaked and racketeering illegally in exchange.
I'm going to shoot that down right now, Michelle Davis. You're saying she was a perfectionist and that's why she turned to alcohol? Well, what? I'm sorry, but I'm just not seeing a lot of logic in that comment that you left there. You're saying she was a perfectionist and that's why she turned to alcohol. She didn't have control of her life. She most likely had eating disorders. How are you getting eating disorders out of all of this? I mean, maybe you watched the interrogation. I haven't watched the interrogation. Maybe there's something there about it. But I was just going to make that point, Simple Life of Days. I know she's not no damn perfectionist because that carpet's dirty as hell. Like, what? that is not a perfectionist. That carpet was gross.
For website hits, viewer ratings, etc. in exchange for, and she writes 3 money symbols. What is your cut, Your Honor? It's not even about the suitcase anymore.
What?
My case is now a global event with the video receiving over 3 million hits depending on the website.
What?
In turn, making me realize that's over 3 million less unprejudiced, unbiased, non-discriminatory, fair jurors I will have access to on my case. How is that going to work? Now what? Boone then addresses Bankowitz.
How did she's going to accuse the judge of what? Taking money? What?
Saying their last meeting was February 15th. She writes to Bankowitz in part, quote, "Please see from my perspective the botched, eye-rolling experience I'm going through still and how I believe anyone would act or do if in my slides doing the same. What would you do? Do not fault me in trying to make the best, most successful outcome possible for myself in every aspect in the convoluted predicament I am in and have been in over the last 3.3 years.
Y'all in the chat are killing me right now. Like, y'all are pissed off, man. Y'all are pissed off at the audacity of this bitch.
I would rather be called a narcissist, pain in the explicative, arrogant, strange, or whatever else anyone wants to waste their time to think of. Just don't call me a murderer, which I am not.
But
no one knows me except for the ludicrous insanity that's
But
been
you totally killed that dude. What are you
up,
talking about?
mocked, edited, and spewed all over the internet. It's not me. Boone is due back in court on July 11th for a pre-trial hearing. Right now, her case is expected to go to trial on July 24th. Reporting for Long Crime Network, I'm Sierra Gillespie.
So, wow. Okay. Let's check out the oh, man, it's such a long video. The body cam footage. I'm not sure if I want to go over that today, you know. Let's move on to the Roberta Laundrie thing. I agree. Happy life, Jay. Give me 1 second here. All right. So you guys want to watch a little bit of the all right, we'll do that. We'll watch a little bit of this police cam body footage.
Oh, right there.
Did you call it? What time did you call it? Hello there. Hi. You live here? Yes. Okay, I'll talk to you. We gotta get some information from the fire department.
The property manager. I don't know if I should go tell him really quick or just so he knows what's going on.
Where is he at?
And you want that way.
Oh, don't worry about that. We'll take care of that for you, okay?
I had a cigarette, but
I'll get it for you, okay? Wait 1 second, okay?
I really need something to drink.
Okay, well,
I got my Dr. Pepper on the counter.
okay, we'll take care of you. Give me 1 second. It's Armando.
I don't know if did we already watch this before?
Put the time. Okay, you called it? Yeah, I put that right there. That's the time you called it? Okay, perfect. You can't go back inside. What's going on? Who is he to you? Boyfriend?
Yes, because for like 3.5 years.
What happened?
He and I, we drank last night. We had a.
Can you pass this to the?
We did go over this. I have gone over this before. I remember it now. You guys are right. Hold on. So Leslie Kohler gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much for that. Congrats to Lockpickings Gal, Stacy, So-Called Life, Dietz, Layla Lay, Headstones and Headlines. Right on. All right, yeah, we're not gonna watch this right now. We watched this before. Jesus, man, my memory sucks. All right, hold on a second. Wow, so let's see where the poll is. 88% say Sarah Boone is not a victim. Y'all don't like her at all, man. This shit's funny. 219 votes. Right on. Okay. All right, so yeah, when definitely going to be going over that trial when it starts. But yeah, it sounds like she's feeling some type of way about not being in the spotlight, is what it absolutely sounds like. Oh man, this is going to be tough to read. Oh my goodness. Okay, bear with me, guys. I'm not going to be able to see chat while I'm going over this. But this is okay. So there's been a lot of controversy over the Roberta Laundrie letter that says burn after reading. Supposedly, I have not read this yet. This will be a reaction to this. I have not read this yet, so I don't know. But there's obviously some tension because the Petitos and the Schmidts are suing. Gabby Petito's parents, mom and dad, are suing the Laundries for I don't even know exactly what grounds they're suing on, but they definitely believe that that they knew what happened to Gabby and did nothing. So they're suing, and I think that they hold on a second. So I had other plans for this, but I mean, I'll go ahead and I'll drop a link in chat and that'll be for Dawn specifically. So I'm not letting anyone else up, just to let you know. So Don is welcome to join me if he'd like. Normally, I would say, hey, I'm in the middle of something else, but since I'm going to be talking about his conversation with dipshit Doug, then so it's only fair that I let him up. But the link is in chat. Let me see. That is Don Wells.
How you doing, sir?
How we doing, man?
Been a long time since I've been on your live, bro.
Yeah, it has. How are you?
Yes, sir. I'm okay, hanging in there. Got a ruptured disc in my back. I'm using a walker to get around, and I'm worried about what I'm gonna do next. Really scared to death. Having all these bills and fines and child support and all this stuff. I'm pretty worried, but fortunately for right now, everything's paid up for now. So
you moved. You moved out of Tennessee,
yeah.
didn't you?
Yeah, I had to.
Are you working?
I was working until I ruptured a disc in my back, and I can't hardly
man.
I can't even walk right now.
That's terrible, man. I'm sorry to
It
hear that.
is. Yeah, but I am 58, I guess. So.
Yeah, man. I don't have medical insurance myself. So what I do is I just try to stay active. I go to the gym. I'm trying to eat right. I'm not trying to drink as much. And I'm just trying to anticipate getting older and be in the best shape I can be. So I feel you. I get it. So what's on your mind? What do you want to come up and talk about?
I appreciate some of the things that you said, but I did want to clarify one thing about the N word. Okay, I'm not prejudiced, sir. I have I'm not prejudiced against any people whatsoever.
Yeah, it looks like Don's got some bad internet there. Yeah, you got some internet issues there. I don't know if there's anything you can do to improve it, but just letting you know that you're breaking up a little bit. So you're saying the use of the N word, you want to say that you're not racist, you're not prejudiced. I mean, you can't blame people for jumping to that conclusion, my friend. You know.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, a low down scoundrel who stabs you in the my use of the word. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's an ugly word, man. It's not something you should throw
Yeah,
around.
I shouldn't have said that.
And if
I
there
get
is,
that. I shouldn't attack anybody. I should be more of a period. And
man, I wish your internet wasn't so
I got
bad
good
because
friends of all color.
Right on. Okay, fair enough.
Shoot.
I'm curious,
anyways,
because I talk about channels that talk about you a lot.
Right. Yeah, I noticed that.
So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, but I mean, you gotta also hear what I'm saying. And I've told you here, we've talked before, and this was like
Yes,
a
we
year and a
have.
half ago, and I'm like,
Yeah,
Don,
before I went to jail.
Stop talking to
Right.
these YouTubers, man. Like,
Exactly.
how have you
Yes.
not learned at this point?
Right. I get it.
You know what I mean?
get
That
it.
these people are leeches, and they're going to
Yes.
twist everything that you say. They're making money off of the narrative that you disappeared your own daughter.
Right.
And they're so now me, I'm be honest with you. I don't know what happened to Summer. None of us know, and it's very frustrating.
It is frustrating.
But
very frustrating.
But I haven't seen any evidence of you having done anything.
there's no evidence either way of anything. The only evidence we have is when we handed the policeman that had the police dog there some of her clothing from the dirty laundry. Is that dog went straight down the dog trail to Ben Hill Road, and then the scent disappeared. And other than that, all we have is the dog hit on some footprints about 3/4 of a mile away at an unfinished log cabin. That is all we have to go on.
Okay. Um, and has law enforcement given you any updates at all, or?
Well, I mean, the last time I've talked to them, it's like, well, we're looking into other things. They're not going to tell us nothing. They
Right.
want, they're not going to, and for good reason. You know, if they said anything, it would be all over Doug's channel or whatever, and he'd be picking it apart. So they have a good reason not to share information.
Right. And are you still very close in contact with Candace?
Yeah, she's here with me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, we was
Tell her I said
working.
hello.
Okay, I sure will. Yeah. And somehow I've managed to rupture a disc in my back, and so right now I'm out of work. But
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
yeah, hopefully I can be able to walk. I'm hoping and praying I can get back to work, but it's not looking good right now.
Um, s- um, so what do you think happened to Summer? Do you have any theories? Do you have
Yeah,
any beliefs?
I really do. We did a live on Daisy's last night, and this woman come forward and explained what happened to her since she was like 2 years old, and she was sold into sex trafficking, taken from America, taken to Australia, and sex trafficked for most of her life. She went on to say that she escaped several times and went to the police, and the police took her back to her abductors of all
Oh,
things.
wow.
Yeah, and when she was finally able to escape, when she turned 18 years old, she managed to save like 160 some odd kids that was involved in this child sex trafficking ring. It was
Wow.
very interesting. Miss Daisy promised me that she would repost that and take it off public, and I mean off private and put it public. And, yeah, so it's something that we need to think about, and people, for the most part, don't want to acknowledge that we have these kind of problems in our world and sweep it under the rug, and we need to be talking about it. This needs, we need to really consider these things. Summer could be in this situation right now, somewhere in the world,
Yeah,
you
see, I,
know.
I, I'm of the belief. I just, to me, she's a missing girl, and I'm not going to assume the worst. Um,
But we
that's
have
that's
to.
that's just how I am. Why do you feel like we have to?
Well, because I know somebody didn't come and pick her up and just take her to Disneyland.
Sure, right. Well,
Because they
the
could.
worst being that she's no longer with us is what I
Oh,
mean.
okay. Oh, okay.
Um,
I got you. I got you. Okay. Right.
real quick, I'm getting some comments in the chat. They're saying that there's a bad echo. Could you maybe mute your YouTube so that it doesn't echo?
How do you mute my? Um, I don't know why. I bought some expensive headphones, and I don't know why they're doing this. I don't know how to. Am I? I don't know what I'm trying to mute here because I'm just live on your channel, as far as I know.
Yeah, and uh, there's an echo from my voice. So,
Oh, from your voice. Oh.
yeah, but there's other people that are just saying that there's nothing. So, I mean, it's not bothering me. So, but
Oh.
so do you think that the TBI and Hawkins County Sheriff are doing everything they can to find Summer?
Yeah, I think so. I think there was a lot of confusion in every direction. A lot of YouTube drama. There's a lot going on. But I think for the most part, yeah, they've probably done everything that they can. I know there's been a lot of policemen who lost a lot of sleep over this. Um, they've told me so. We've never stopped cooperating with the police. They've come and seen me in jail several times. I've talked to them openly without a lawyer. I don't have a problem with that. I have nothing to hide. I want to find my daughter, you know.
Right. How many times have they interviewed you, and when was the last time that they did?
Probably about 2 months before I got out of jail was probably about the last time they interviewed me. Um, they probably come to see me about 10 times in total when I was locked up.
Right.
You know,
Did they allude any like did they imply any suspicion towards you? Was there any indication that they were suspicious of
well,
you of anything?
they actually told me that they know where I was. They
Right.
know exactly where I was. Um, but what about this, that, or the other, you know, kind of thing, you know, and try to go from there, sort of thing. But yeah, there was just mass confusion. I think it was sad. I mean, even the day that Summer come up missing, we had all kind of search teams up there. You know, Ben Hill and Beach Creek was just choked up with traffic, and nobody could go anywhere. It was insane, absolutely insane.
What about your community in Rogersville? Are you getting a lot of support from the community there, or
Mm, I think some people do, but then you have the other people that you kind of got both. I think people that want to attack us, and then you got people that support us. I mean, it's a
right?
mixed bag for sure.
Now, have you heard of about Summer's Day?
Yeah, I
Um,
have. I don't want to celebrate anything without my daughter being present. That's
right,
just how I feel. I don't know. I mean, it just don't seem right for me to go celebrate my daughter's life and she's not there. Or maybe if I knew she had passed on or something, I might do something like that. But I don't
right.
know. Yeah, I don't
So
know.
you feel like it's it's got a vibe of a memorial and kind of hints towards her being deceased
Yeah,
more than missing.
it's hard to celebrate or party or do anything without my kids there. You know.
Right. Um Now, I mean, just so people don't twist what you're saying here, because I
Right.
know you're just gonna get a lot of people that are like, wait,
Yeah.
is he gonna drink and party with the kids? What's he saying? What's he saying? So,
Right.
I mean, you basically you mean like having a good time with cake and things of that
Yeah,
nature.
of
Right, right,
course.
right, right,
Yeah,
right.
of course. Yeah.
I don't want to give the trolls anything because they're, I mean, anything you say on a YouTube channel is going to get twisted up, man. It's just the way it
Yeah,
is.
absolutely, for sure.
Um, but uh, how's Candace dealing with everything?
She's
How are
doing
you guys
okay.
adjusting?
We're doing the best we can. I was able to come out here with my old boss, and he was happy to see me again. Went back to work for him, but I ruptured a disc in my back. Like I was saying, I'm worried sick, but as of right now, everything's paid up. So thank God for that.
Right.
And so just hopefully, within another few days or so, I can get back to work. But right now, I can't even walk. So, but I'm hoping and praying for a miracle. We'll just put it like that. Uh, that's all I can do. 'Cause if I can't continue on and pay all these people their money, you know where I'm gonna be.
Um, yeah, I'm really sorry to hear about you being in such debt. Because I mean, you're a physical guy. Like the work you do is physical. You do drywall. You're
Right.
um, that's
Very physical.
Right. It's not easy work, and you need your physical well-being to be intact to be able to work.
Right.
Do you have any other possible sources of income that maybe you can
Nah, nah, no.
is
That's
is
okay.
is Candace working?
Well, she was working with me, so
Right.
yeah. So it's kind of put us both out of work for now. But thank God everything's paid up for now. So hopefully the Lord, and He will, He always comes through. And I'm just going to put my faith in Him that within another week, I'll be able to go back to work.
Right. Yeah, I don't know anything about a ruptured disc in somebody's back. I don't have any advice to give you on that. Best thing I could tell you is just stay put.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
irritate it. That's the only thing I can
right.
think of.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I can't move. It hurts so bad.
yeah, I'm really sorry,
Ugh.
man.
Oh, it's all
Um,
good. It's nothing compared to the pain that my daughter's going through, or other kids, what they've been through, or whatever, So I'm not. I kind of look at it like that. Um, you know.
right. Um, so I'm getting some comments asking, and I realize you've talked about this 100 times. I've just never spoken to you about it.
Well, right.
As far as the day Summer went missing, what do
Hmm.
you believe happened that day exactly?
I think if did I already mention the show that Daisy done? That woman come up. I probably did.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think it was a professional hit. I think somebody's seen some serious potential in her because she is a really pretty little girl or whatever. I don't know, but
Where do you think they saw her?
you know what? I think TikTok.
Hmm.
Because my wife was posting TikTok videos, not aware of the danger. And I mean,
Right.
I don't know. It was such a professional thing. I'm not, I guarantee you, me and Candace ain't that professional to do something so devious and then be able to hide it from law enforcement. There's no way I could do that. And pass a lie detectors test on top of it. And there's no way. There's no way I could ever do
Well,
that.
right. I mean, I
Uh,
just, you know, I'm not getting the whole criminal mastermind vibe from you and
right?
Candace. You
No,
know what
no
I mean?
way.
I feel
Shoot.
like with all of the public speaking you've done
Yeah.
and all of the other slip ups you've done, you would think that you would slip up about
Oh
Summer
yeah.
if you were
Oh
behind
yeah.
it.
I would have done told on myself a long time ago. I guarantee
Right.
it.
That's what I think
Yeah.
anyway. That's just my
Oh yeah.
theory.
Definitely.
Um,
And if I was that devious to do something so gross, I probably would have killed myself. To be honest with you.
right. Well, we don't want that.
Well, I
Uh,
mean, if I done some bullshit like people are putting out there, I'm sorry, but
no, I
what
got you. I know what you
right?
mean. What about uh are you guys taking steps to get your boys back or
Yeah, yeah. We just finished a class today, actually. So we're getting our certificates on that, but we still got other classes that we're working on and everything, and they're working with us and allowing us to do it on Skype or whatever. So that's pretty cool. You know, um, I've just been so screwed up since all this has happened. Didn't know who to trust. I didn't know who to turn to. It's been crazy. And it's been the same for the people out there in your chat. I get it. I really do. It makes sense. So I forgive everybody out there. Whoever said one bad thing about us, I understand.
right?
I really do. I understand.
I
Because the way
mean,
it looks and the way things went down and all this craziness, it's totally understandable. It really is.
yeah, I mean, because what you want is if you're hoping, of course you are, that Summer's going to be found and brought home. you want to make sure that you have a stable environment for her to come home to, right?
Absolutely, yes.
And so what I was gonna do, I mean, you got a while? You want to hang out?
Yeah, I can do that. Yes, sir.
So what I was gonna do, this is actually a great idea. I was gonna go over Doug's phone call with you. I was gonna
Oh
react to it
boy.
because I have not listened to it.
Oh my
Do you
goodness.
want to stick around for that?
I sure will, buddy.
All
Dang
right.
right.
Let me pull that up real quick. Let
All
me
right. But yeah, I want to make it clear though, I'm not uh, prejudiced against any race whatsoever. And man,
Yeah, it's just, I mean, the thing is,
I know.
yeah,
I
if
apologize.
there's a word that actually hurts people, it's that one because of the history, because of, I mean,
Well,
it's just a word derived from hatred, and
yeah, but it
we're
is.
better
It
than
is.
that nowadays, you
Right.
know.
Yeah, and I should be better than that. And that's a good point. Yes, sir.
Um. So real quick, God, this guy sucks. Oh my God, why did you talk to this guy in the first place?
Right. I
Guy's a
get it. I
douchebag.
know. Yes, sir. I know.
So's that Josh dude from the lab. That guy's a
Exactly.
shit bag. That guy's an
Yes,
idiot.
sir. Yes.
1 second. So I
They,
know that.
they suck me in every time and then stab me in the back every time. You know. Oh gosh.
All right. I recorded that.
Whatever your little heart desires. Throw those purple hearts up for summer. Remember who we're here about. Don't make it about yourselves, people. Keep it about summer. Keep the chat friendly.
See, that's annoying to me.
Yeah.
That people like they nominate and call themselves Summer's Army.
Yeah.
And all they're doing is trashing her parents. They're not doing
Yes.
anything to, you know what I mean? Like they're not doing anything to help her.
No, it hurts. It hurts every time they say something like that. It hurts a lot. Because I was about Summer. I was her parent. I worked 7 days a week for 13 years to support
Right.
all my kids.
Yeah, drywall's no joke. That's hard work.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right, let's see what this idiot
Ones too. We got just in case if they're coming in soon.
Trolls, trolling all the time, trolling all the time.
So
Now,
you
I can
know
do this.
You know
You
this
can't,
dude is
right?
this dude is like a failed stand-up comedian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure he's. I won't go there. Yeah.
I went over some of his stand-up and I was like, Jesus, dude.
He told a
Like
lot
really,
about him. He was being really honest in that stand up.
it's
I
cringy.
think, yeah. I learned a lot about Doug just watching his stand up comedy act. Yeah.
Frank Hill, this guy over here, right? Frankenweenie is his screen name. That guy? Yeah, the RSO, Frankenweenie. That's terrible.
It's Meth Head Fred.
I love it though. It sounds perfect. Frankenweenie 69 is probably his screen name. Just saying. Then we got Fred Hill, the meth guy. Now remember, Don and Andy, the guy on the top left, and Don Wells, were over at the guy on the bottom right's house, Frank Light's house, the day after Summer went missing.
Yeah, I was
Keep
there
that in
with a
mind.
gun. I was there with a gun. You damn right I was.
Tell us about that.
I went over there and I wanted to talk to him, and his brother stopped me, and he told me some some things about how he got charged and everything, that he had picked up a memory chip from the ground and got his fingerprint on it, and that's what he pled guilty to. But when you look up his charges, he pled guilty to having child porn on 3 different devices: his computer, his phone, and a memory chip. That's what he pled guilty to.
Okay.
So his
How did you
story,
end up? How did you end up getting to him? How did you end up? How did he end up on your radar? Where you ended up going to his house, knowing this?
because YouTubers had actually looked up his criminal record and everything like that. So I drove over there, and I went over there. I was by myself. I expected, I didn't know what to expect, and I ended up talking to his brother, and that's when his brother told me that he was just charged for something minor about a memory chip. But when you look at his record, or you look at what he pled guilty to, he had child porn on 3 different devices that he had pled guilty to.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you still do you believe that he had something to do with Summer's disappearance?
I don't know who had. I don't know who took our daughter. I wished I did. There's so many people on the radar that we just don't know.
Like, is there somebody that you just like have a gut feeling about that you believe knows more than what they're saying? Or
I wished I did. I really wish I did, but I have no clue. Just like the police have no clue. There's no evidence. There's nothing.
so because there was a time where you thought it was Dudley, right?
Yes.
And you don't
Yeah,
believe that
because
anymore?
well, Dudley admitted the other day when I was on Shares Live that he had done meth that weekend. So I assumed that he done it all weekend and didn't sleep all weekend, because when he showed up to work Monday morning, he was out of his damn ever living mind.
Oh God.
Yeah, and I knew it. And but he finally admitted to it on Shares, thanks to some people that was on live there, got him talking, and he finally admitted it. Thank God. And so man, he was a mess. And so when I fired him, and he was real combative and everything else. Did I lose you? Okay, you still there? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. So but at this point you're just you don't really have a strong feeling about him.
Well, we do know he has alibis for where he was. We do know that. Whether he was able to get somebody to go over and, you know, go do something or not, I don't know. But he
Right.
does have alibis, strong alibis for where he was. Yes.
Okay. All right, let's continue with this dickhead.
Right. And then Fred Hill, what in the hill? I just work all the time. Yeah, Fred Hill is the one who got with Ziggy and called in Bones to TBI. But Jody Sue and Fred Hill are friends.
You know what's
so
so
Andy and Fred and Frank and Fred.
You know what's so weird is like I'm very invested in Summer's case, but I have this superpower where I just don't listen to anything. I don't even know who Jody Sue Brown is. I hear her name all the time. I just don't pay attention to everything that just is rumor. It's all rumor.
It is.
So
Hearsay.
So I mean, I don't pay attention to it. I don't understand why. I mean, I understand why people are doing it, because there's a shit ton of busybodies out there that think they know everything and think that they're crime sleuths, and idiots like this capitalize on it.
That reminds me of that that's saying in that rock and roll song, everybody's got opinions, but nobody's got no answers.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Frank and Fred. Holy crap. All right, anyway. The light in the hills. Well, the lights and the Bernards, well, if you look at the corners, they have like all the land. So I put them on corners. I had to. Jody Sue was kind of stuck in the middle. I didn't know really where to put her. I'm not sure if she's out or if she's in. Put a 1 in the chat if she's out. Put a 2 in the chat if she's in. Put a 3 if she's like out and in at the same time. I don't know. Going and coming is the same. And leaving. Okay, just 3 if you're undecided. Chicken bones. That's right.
Bro.
I found a. I'm not sure if that was premeditated or not. I'm starting to think you guys are all in this together still. And it's going to come to this now. It's coming to a stop. You see everybody's up there. We got Hunter. We got Candace. We got Allie checking Jose's prostate, which God forbid that ever happens again to anybody. Dawn at the top. Grandis. Basically, she's the smartest out of all of us. And she got gone right when it hit. Yeah.
So it's really, I've had Candace on here before, and I referred to her mom as Grandis once, and she asked me nicely to please not refer to her as that.
Right.
And I never did after that again.
Right.
But like, why do people still do this? Why? I don't understand. Because it's just proof. My whole thing is, when you follow these cases, you have to assume that everyone involved is a victim until you have at least enough reason to believe that they're not, and I'm not getting a vibe from Candace's mom at all that she knows anything about what happened to Summer or anything like that. And for people to just be as disrespectful to her as they always are is just kind of weird to me.
She's missing a daughter and a granddaughter.
Right.
Absolutely. Sad.
Yeah. So the Carney gang, I think, is out. The Holler gang is in. My eyes, right? So
see, I don't even know what the fuck this guy's talking about.
I don't think he knows.
Like, I have no fucking clue who he's talking about, what he's talking about.
He's on meth. He's got to be. I'm sorry. It's the only thing that makes sense.
I'm glad you said so, because I totally get a cokehead vibe from him. I grew up in Miami,
right.
dude, and
exactly.
He's just totally that guy that when he shows up to the room, everybody's just like, "Fuck," because
his own family's got a restraining order out on him. That tells you anything. His own family.
Wow.
Yeah, Holler gang. Let the Carnies out. Unless the Carnies helped hide Summer, I'm going to say that the Holler gang is what we're looking at. We're not looking outside of the Holler people. There's no reason to look outside the Holler unless you're looking at Hunter, Allie, and that side of the family. That's about it. Moving on.
Got a lot since I've been spreading that all over YouTube. There ain't much traffic through here lately.
Are they going to find anything else in your blood when they do? Oh, fuck, it's that bad.
Did you know that he was recording that conversation?
There's a couple times I thought I was talking to him, just me and him, but I should have known better. My bad. It's my fault. I should know that he records every single thing.
But he didn't tell you that he was recording the conversation?
No, he didn't.
Jeez. I mean, Don, I got to tell you, man, I'm always going to defend your right, and however you handle these things is your business. But I'll tell you, it'll be a happy day for this chat and myself when you take legal action against these people. I know it's you don't want to, but
there's lawyers looking at him right now as we speak, for sure.
So you and Candace, because I remember both. I've talked to you and I've talked to Candace before, and you did not want to take any legal action against these people. And
there was so much drama going on. We didn't know which way to turn. I mean, it's just a whirlwind of drama all the way around.
Right.
We didn't know what to do.
Yeah, because it's not an excuse for them to make things up, but the more you talk to these people,
the worse it gets.
It's just more stuff that they're going to twist and use to defame you.
Right.
yeah, my personal opinion, like I said, you have every right to deal with it however you choose to deal with it within the boundaries of the law. But it'll really make a statement if parents of missing kids and family members of missing people start fighting back against these leeches, these vultures,
Absolutely. Yeah.
because I know Frankie Ruchek Jr. He's the brother of Shanann Watts, and he's just systematically going after everybody who defamed him and spread rumors about his sister, and he's just not sitting down and taking this anymore. And it's a long time coming. He's been doing this for a while. That case was in 2018. And these people have not had 1 minute of rest to mourn.
Exactly. And that's where we're at. I haven't been able to mourn for Summer. I might get a day here and there and be able to think about her, and then all this drama starts again. But yeah, I get it. I really do. It's crazy.
Yeah, and you have said before that you didn't believe that Summer was still alive. Do you still believe that she's alive?
Well, I don't have a clue, to be honest. I don't know. The reason I would probably said that is because of the dream I had about her. I mean, but I don't know. I have no idea. There's no way I could possibly know.
Huh. Yeah. It's just, yeah, I know that people are going to respond better to you if they believe that you're still holding hope. You and
Well, of
Candace are both
course.
still holding out hope.
Absolutely. Don't have no hope in this world, but I do have hope in our Lord and Savior. This world is evil. I mean, I've never seen anything like this in my entire life.
I mean, yeah, there's some evil aspects of the world, that's for sure, but it's not all bad. If you're finding spiritual guidance some way, that's believe it or not, you're holding out hope to some degree.
That's right.
You've got faith in some goodness. So
Yeah.
there's
Jesus says we have to overcome the world, and that's a hard thing to do, to overcome this world.
Right. Yeah. I agree with you. It's not easy, but that's what faith is, just staying steadfast through your own principles and not backing down from them. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's necessary, and it's absolutely necessary for someone in your position. And I know it's easier said than done.
We've all got to overcome the world. Every single one of us have to overcome the world and trust in our Lord. And it's not easy to do. The tax collector, what was his name? Matthew. He had a mansion on the hill, right, overlooking the Sea of Galilee. And he had dinner with Jesus, invited Jesus and all the disciples there and everything. But he sold his house and followed Jesus until the day he died. And I think that's a good example of what it's a hard thing to do, very hard. Man, can't imagine that. To live a life like that and then sell his house and follow Jesus, to his death is just, I can't imagine. But he set the example of what we all need to be thinking about and doing. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely not something to shake a stick at.
Wait a minute. Didn't we just listen to Fred Hill? I'm not like all these other guys. Yeah, that interview with Ziggy. I'm not like anybody else in the holler. I don't do what they do. The things that you were saying to her, I have no reason to believe at all is true or factual one freaking bit. One bit. No, yes. The other day I was praising you. Now I'm taking that back. I got to sweep. I got to pull the carpet. Poof.
This guy sucks so bad.
He don't know what side of the street he's on.
My whole thing is like, I think I could speak for everyone when I say you have the worst fucking judgment in YouTubers, dude. Like,
Right, I agree.
You keep picking the
I
worst
agree.
ones to talk to.
Well, it's not that I want to talk to them. It's like this. They create a mob type atmosphere, and I feel like I have to go on and try to protect myself and try to stop that mob mentality because I've already been fired. I've already had all kinds of stuff going on. They've tried to railroad me into prison, and they almost succeeded in that. Not actually almost succeeded, but it went as far as my stepsisters filing false statements, signing false statements, having the detectives coming and talk to me about it, getting the two friends that were supposedly involved. They questioned them and everything else. Yeah, of course, I laughed at them and told them to go to hell, and I told them really what it was all about. And I says, did you even know who Summerman Utah Well is? And the detective said, no. Who's that? You know what I'm saying? And I had to
Right.
explain the whole story to them. And in the end, the detective is like, he was blown away. He's like, man, I'm sorry, Mr. Wells. Whatever. And I says, but yeah, that's how that went.
So who facilitated that? Because I'm hearing things about that.
Chris McDonough. Yeah.
That guy sucks. So what did he do? He contacted your sisters?
Yeah, I don't know how he got in contact with my stepsisters. I don't know how all that come about.
Is there any truth to their allegations?
Well, the truth, the part that I admitted to, yeah, there's truth in that. But as far as Mary, she's a straight liar. None of that happened. And as far as there being seven or whatever, seven women or whatever, that's all lies. There was 3 signed statements that they give to the detectives, and they were all pretty much bullshit and exaggerated big time. And Mary's is a complete lie. Complete lie. All of Mary's is a total lie. But what I admitted to is the truth, and that's where I stand, and I won't deny it. You know.
Right. So how old were you?
12 years old.
12 years old.
You know?
And so
I'm not proud. I'm not proud.
No,
I'm not saying I was in the right. I'm not saying but I'm also not going to sit there and defend my stepsister and say she's a freaking angel.
Right.
She was. I mean, look. I will defend her. No, let me take that back. I will defend her. She was molested by another family member and was probably sexually active before I come on the scene. Okay. I will protect her in this sense.
Right.
So she was doing things that I didn't understand, and okay, and we'll just leave it at that, please.
Mm.
And let's just
Fair
stop
enough.
right there with that. And I will protect her on that. Yes, I will.
Fair enough.
Yes,
I
sir.
just saw an opportunity to ask you myself directly,
Right.
and instead of making
I
assumptions.
mean, yeah. I mean, I don't want to attack. I don't want to attack them. I will say, I will go as far as to say that everything that Mary says is a complete lie.
Right.
Every bit of it. Every bit of it. But I don't know what else to say beyond that point. Except for I don't know. I mean, man,
Well,
crazy.
it's just killing me because it's all I see on YouTube.
Right. Yeah, I know, right?
Is just a constant
Bashing.
constant bashing, but yeah, but it's all people who claim to be, Summer's army, quote unquote.
Right.
But but nobody does anything that is contributing to finding Summer.
No,
Because the thing is and it's really counterproductive too, because
it is.
the thing is, let's just say they're right. Just bear with me here for a second. Let's just say let's say they're right and you're responsible for Summer's disappearance.
Okay, I'll play along.
And at that point, I mean, they have to know. Well, these are people who don't even understand. Like I reviewed Josh the other day, and he was criticizing me for streaming a trial, which is as which is as true crime gets, you know. So I don't think that these people really understand how the law works, and if
They don't, unless you've been in the criminal system, you're not going to understand it.
Well, right, because I figure what they're doing is damaging the case by talking to you and twisting everything and then lying and making things up about you. And then what they're doing is they're giving fuel to your lawyer and costing Summer justice. Like I said, hypothetically speaking, if you're responsible, then they're counterproductive to getting her justice by doing what they're doing.
Yeah, it's all about it just proves that it's all about them and their YouTube channel. It's nothing. They don't really care about Summer or Mary or Jeannie or anybody else. They only care about their YouTube channel and them.
Right.
They've proven it time and time again.
Bros Babble, I already asked him about that. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna keep going with this fool, but it's he's actually getting on my nerves now.
I
So
know you can't even. Yeah, it's like don't even want to hear it. It's just like so gross and disrespectful and everything else. Yeah, I get it. I can't listen to him.
I mean, if I'm up here alone and I'm reviewing something, because I do it, I'm not going to stop every time somebody is slapping Summer's name all over their channel and just trash talking. I'm going to review them and expose them for the idiots that they are. That's just what I do.
Right.
But and yeah, so Perfectly Imperfect saying McDumbass said Don would be arrested while he was in jail for his alleged crimes. But look, here he is, free as a bird. Right. I mean, I don't I figure while you were in jail, you just said yourself they went and saw you at least what'd you say, 7 times while you were in jail?
Well, I talked. The detectives come and talk to me at least 10 times about Summer's case, and I didn't have a lawyer present. Didn't ask for a lawyer. Don't need a lawyer, you know. But I did have a detective call me from Utah about the signed statements for Jeannie, Mary, and another one. There was only 3. There's not 7. Um, we talked in depth about. Well, I mean, pretty much. Okay, the conversation went. First, I laughed, and I said, you know, like I said, I says, do you even know who Summer Wells is? And they're like, no. And so I explained the whole story to them. I explained what has been going on throughout the years, what these girls have done to me and terrorized me throughout the years. You guys don't even know anything. I mean, they have. Oh my gosh.
So you're saying they went to the jail to discuss the sexual abuse allegations?
No, I actually had a detective call me from Utah and talk to me about it.
Okay.
But there's nothing there. I mean,
there's
nothing there.
Deets on the Streets is a fellow YouTuber. She has a really good channel. She's in the chat. She's asking which detectives, if you don't mind sharing, local, TBI, or FBI. Just curious who is handling the case more. But she understands if you can't share.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, I don't think they have anything to hide either. You know, TBI and Hawkins County both was present with me in every meeting in the jail.
Does it seem like TBI or Hawkins County is more in the driver's seat as far as the investigation?
I really don't know, but I'd say since TBI is higher up on the totem pole, I'd say that they probably are. I don't know. But
Right.
then we also have FBI involved too.
Now, the FBI though, because I noticed that when the FBI is involved in a case, it's usually because there's a crossing of state lines type situation where
Right.
it becomes a federal matter, or the local police department has to seek help
Yeah.
from the FBI. They have to actually
Yeah.
ask them to help.
Right. I have
Um,
no idea why FBI involved themselves, but they did. And I mean, I don't know. We had the military aircraft flying at night, all night long for a while. They tried very hard to find somewhere. I have to give them that. I got to give them that. They tried very, very hard. I watched them carry a couple of guys out of the woods, couldn't even walk.
wow.
I've seen that with my own eyes. These guys tried hard, everything to find her. I got to give it to them.
Right. Yeah, they that because I remember when she went missing, a lot of people wanted to volunteer and help search, and they
Yeah,
weren't
they were.
allowing that because how
Well,
dangerous the terrain is.
it really is, and it's easy to get lost, and it's like a jungle type. It's so it's like Vietnam, I guess, or something. It's just there's so much rain and so much foliage and stuff. You can disappear within 5 feet. Of going into some brush. I've seen deer just run across the road and literally disappear into the brush like nothing. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, because if professionals are even getting hurt,
yes,
so that
yes,
should tell you.
right,
Because I mean, I know a lot of people really wanted to go out there and help search.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I took my dirt bike with me when I moved to Tennessee, and I can't even ride it nowhere because there's so much foliage and stuff. The only place I could ride my dirt bike was on the street, and I wore my knobby tire off, giving the kids rides everywhere and stuff. But yeah, I'm from Utah. I'm from the desert country where you can just go in any direction.
right.
But Tennessee is just, man, the terrain is just impossible to get through. But like I said, they had military aircraft flying at night, an old Huey helicopter flying by day. They had infrared and stuff, but I don't know what kind of technology they had on that airplane, but it was high technology. They flew it every night for a long time, and they found a few things. They found a few bodies and stuff. I don't know if they were animal or what, but they treated them like crime scenes, and they checked them out, and it wasn't. They didn't check it. Didn't amount to anything, as far as I know. But
See, we didn't hear about any of this.
oh
This is
yeah,
interesting
oh
because
yeah,
law enforcement, none of the law enforcement agencies shared that information at all.
yeah, and
Um,
they're not going to for good reason, because someone like Doug would get a hold of it, and there you go. Yeah, they're
that
smart. They're smart that way.
right. That brings me to the one guy that I review on here quite a bit. Very interesting character. Jonathan Lee Riches spoke to you
Oh,
recently.
brother.
No, tell us about
Yeah,
that.
I tried to talk to him, but he goes, I don't know. I've tried to talk to him.
Like
I haven't.
he's one of the people that showed up and got you fired. You and Candace fired that one day, right?
Yes, he did. Dudley was the lead of the whole thing.
Dudley is the one that brought him over there. Right.
Right.
So, yeah. So
He
give me
was
a
texting me. He was texting me earlier, by the way. A little dot and a dash and a question mark and this and that. And I sent him back a question mark, and he sent me another whatever, just oddball stuff with some numbers and stuff, and I'm like, whatever, dude.
JLR or Dudley?
JLR.
Something's
know what he's-
seriously wrong with that guy. Do you know about him? Do you know like a
Yeah,
little history
yeah.
about him?
Made the Guinness Book of World Records. Yep.
That's a rumor, but the frivolous lawsuits is true.
Yes.
But yeah, the Guinness Book of World Record doesn't give out.
Oh, really?
I went
Oh.
over a quote from the Guinness Book of World Record from a spokesperson from the Guinness Book of World Record. They said we don't give, records out on things like that.
Well, that don't make no sense.
I mean, the
Oh.
guy's well, he's a troll.
Yeah, he is.
This Deets
Yep.
on the Streets person, she did a very informative video I recommend watching. It's an hour long, but it's it basically him just admitting that he's just trying to get a rise out of people. He doesn't care about
Right.
anything that he's talking about or doing. He's not helping
No.
anyone.
No.
But
He's a troll.
he's like, and he's a hardcore Trump supporter. So so there's cops that just love him, which is super weird. I went over footage of a police officer actually like recognizing him and giving him a fist bump.
Wow.
And I'm just like, you watch the guy's content and you see him basically interfering with open investigations, and you're giving him a fist bump.
Yeah, he probably has no idea. But you know who was the very first troll of all?
Who's that?
Satan.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So you trolls, look out.
If Satan's real, man, he's in jail.
Oh, Satan.
I'll tell you that right now.
Satan's real. I know Satan's real. Because the reason I know Satan's real is because I know God is real.
Right.
That's how I know. And I know that God has never lied. Anywhere in the Bible, anything that's said is proved to be 100% accurate. And God has never lied, not once, and never will.
Yeah, so I how besides the back problems that you're having right now, as far as you and Candace are doing, are you guys nice and settled in where you're at? Are you?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of drama going on. There's a lot
What
of
are your
drama going on here. Well, our main goal was to get everything paid up, which we've done, and praise the Lord, was able to do that. And so right now, I'm just hoping and praying that I can get healed up and go back to work as soon as possible. I don't know. I've always wanted to move back to Utah, but I don't have my kids. It's just a big wreck and just a big, huge mess all the way around. And Candace's heart's broke, of course. They, the people, our kids, our boys, they, in my opinion, have been brainwashed, by entities that we have no control over. We can't talk to the boys yet. We're forced to pay child support, but we can't even talk to them on the phone.
Right.
Don't make no sense. It's out of our control.
There has to be conditions, right?
Oh,
Have they presented you with conditions to where
Well, yeah.
if you meet them, you can talk to your boys at least?
Well, yeah, supposedly, yeah. And I'm not trying to. I don't want to say anything bad, but I mean, we are dealing with a welfare system which is corrupt. There's $3.2 billion a year at stake just in the state of Tennessee alone.
Huh.
Yeah, the 3.2 billion. There's a lot of reasons to keep kids in foster care. Lots of reasons.
That's
We're talking
interesting.
about people's brand new homes, their BMW in the garage, or whatever they got going on, So it is what it is. The facts are facts.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
just
I don't really know how family services is here in Tennessee. But I know I know how it works in Georgia, at least. In Georgia,
Right.
it was pretty straight up. I mean, I didn't get
Yeah.
an impression of any uh
It's a,
corruption
because,
or anything of that
well,
nature.
our country has become so corrupt. It's a big money grab. Everybody's hollering for money. Borrow more money from the World Bank. We're at $3.2 trillion now. There's no way that we could pay it back or our kids could ever pay it back. And they're wanting to borrow more money, like
Right.
so we can pay child welfare services to take more kids. Like what the hell is going on?
So,
Sooner
but
or later they're going to run out of money. And they're just going to. What are they going to do with all these kids then?
well, what are their conditions? What are they saying you have to do in order to get the boys back?
Well, we got about 15 hoops we got to jump through. This hoop, that hoop, the next hoop, this hoop, that hoop, and so on and so forth. Which we're trying our best to comply with. We're doing everything we possibly can. We just finished a class today, got our certificates. I still got other classes we got to do. We're trying everything we can to comply with the state. And I don't know. It seems like they're being fair, but yet on the other hand, we can't talk to our boys. Um, there's a lot of brainwashing going on. Anytime the kids are split up in a family, one parent or the other is trying to sway, what they believe and what they see and what they hear and everything else. You know how that works. You know,
Right.
it happened within my step family, um, and it still goes on today. Obviously, Mary was on Doug live earlier, spreading her lies again. And I asked her, Mary, why are you lying against me like this? And I didn't get no answer. And I was going to go live, but they wouldn't put up a link because, of course, they want to go with their agenda and whatever, and that's fine. Let them lie all day long. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I'm bringing it up, because normally, I mean, a family issue is none of my business, and I would never ask about that. But
Right,
it pertains. It to me, it pertains to if Summer's found, where's she gonna
right,
go? You know what I mean? Is
right. Yeah,
she gonna come home to you? I mean, and is what I'm just curious as to what the chances are looking
yeah.
for
I'm not.
that to happen.
I really don't know. I don't know, but I'd rather her be in foster care than wherever she's at right now, for sure.
Right. Um.
Even though I don't trust foster care, I don't trust the system. In my mind, they're oh, I can't think of the word, but they've abducted my kids. In a legal manner.
Right. Um.
But thank God they're in good hands. That's the only thing I can say is thank God. My boys are being taken care of.
Right.
So
They're safe, and you at least
yes, right.
you are at least are you at least in communication with someone with family services where
Yeah,
they
I
give you an
can't.
update
Well,
on the
I
boys
can't.
and how they're doing?
I can't even talk to them anymore because I told them some things in confidence, and they went straight to their lawyer, and their lawyer brought it straight to the judge. So I can't even talk to them. I
Right.
can't talk to them in confidence like me and you were talking or whatever. Like right now, I can't even do that because they take everything and use it against you in a court of law. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, and that's how it is with child welfare.
Okay. So yeah, I'm sorry. Somebody in chat I was not aware of this. They're saying that you're not supposed to speak on the boys.
Well, there's certain
Um.
things, yeah, but they are
Okay.
our kids, and it is we do have an amendment rights and stuff like that, so
Well,
they
I don't
can't
want you
step.
getting in any trouble.
Oh
I'm not.
no, no,
You
they
know what I
they
mean?
can't they can't
That's
they can't step on our toes like that much. We do have rights.
okay.
We do have rights. They can try and say all that, but we have rights. No,
Right.
we're not trying to hurt our boys. Definitely not. No, we don't want to do that. We know they're in good hands, and that's important as for now. But like if we was to sign over our rights, we don't know what's going to happen to them next. From there, anything could happen from there on. We don't know. But as of right now, we know they're being taken care of because we haven't signed our rights over.
Right.
But the minute we sign our rights, I don't know what would happen or where they'd end up. I mean, they're making 3.2 or 3.2 billion dollars a year off of them being in foster care. So if they got them going to the prison route and in prison or even juvenile detention centers, then they're making even more money.
Right.
So they're being foster care and juvenile at the same time. They're making twice the money. Let's just put it like that. It's the system. It's how it works. Let's be real. A lot of kids are unfortunately caught up in the system like this, and we need to bring awareness to this. It's wrong. These people are making money hand over fist off our children, and it's wrong.
All right, I'm gonna stray away from that topic.
Okay, well, I don't blame you. I'll bring it
Yeah.
up on my own YouTube channel.
Right on. Yeah.
I appreciate it. Well, it's my fight. It's not yours, and I get it. That's cool. That's fine. It's
Well,
understandable. It's
you're
all good.
right. I
It's
just
good.
don't want to be a part
But see,
of
well, no, I get it.
getting
But
you in
that's
any
but,
trouble
well,
and
no. But that's what America does. I mean, they brush stuff under the rug. I'm not trying to put you down, bro. I'm not. But
right.
people brush stuff under the rug instead of facing the facts and bringing it to them. People don't just stray away from it and brush it under the rug like it don't exist. But this is facts. But it's all good. I'm gonna hop off here, bro. And it's good talking to you.
I
And
just got one more thing to say because I was actually going to wrap this up myself.
Okay, go ahead.
My humble suggestion to you is
Yes, sir.
get yourself a lawyer.
We got one
civil,
looking at all this stuff.
a civil lawyer, and stay the hell off of YouTube because that's just more. Well, because anything that you're going to be saying is going to be used and twisted, and you want
Absolutely.
you want to make these people pay for what they're putting you through. So the best thing
Well,
to do is
but
just
then again,
stay
too, like
private.
at least when I'm on your channel or White Boys, and White Boy told me to tell you hello and hope we can work out our differences and fight for the right cause. He did want me to tell you that. Um, so I hope that goes somewhere. And but yeah, these people are making us look so evil. I'm trying to change public opinion, for my kids' sake. I was their hero and their dad for a long time, and now I'm just a piece of shit in their eyes.
Right.
Thanks to Doug and other sorry sons of bitches.
I mean, yeah, that's my suggestion. I would go from the top down. Just start with Chris McDonough and work your way down with these idiots.
Right,
That's what
right.
I would do. But that's just
Absolutely.
me. And like I said, it's your fight, it's your business, and I just hope everything works out for you. And I hope more than anything that Summer's found safe.
Yeah, I hope so, bro. I hope so. But anyway, thank you for having me up here. Opportunity to talk. God
Yeah,
bless
man.
you all. Love you all. Thank you. And I'll
Thanks for
holler at you later, brother.
joining me, man. I appreciate
Yes,
it.
sir. Thank you. Goodbye.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay. So, and I see a lot of criticism from my usual supporters here in the chat for what just went down here, but Don reached out to me and wanted to say what he had to say on here because he knows I'm not going to attack him or twist his words. So I do not regret or apologize for bringing Don Wells up here after he requested to speak his mind. So I'm sorry if you guys don't approve. But I was put on the spot, and I'm okay with that. But the man had stuff that he wanted to say, and it's not I would be remiss to not give him the opportunity to speak here if he wanted to speak here. Anybody who I talk about is welcome to join me. And I don't really talk much about Don. I just trash all of the ridiculous rumors that get thrown around. And as far as I'm concerned, this man is a victim of having a child missing. And it's just that simple. And I understand a lot of people feeling like this conversation should have been private, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not trying to trick anyone into saying anything, and I'm not trying to become buddies with people behind the scenes, families of missing people. That's just not, I'm not built that way. He wanted to speak here. I gave him an opportunity to speak here, and he spoke here. I did the best I could with not having planned this at all whatsoever. But yeah, I'm not interested in a private conversation with any parents they can request it. Sure. They can reach me and say, hey, I'd really like to talk to you one-on-one. We can absolutely do that for sure. But I'm not going to, try to develop some sort of relationship. I think that's the most irresponsible shit that I've seen YouTubers do with this family. And it really sucks, it's shit. As far as I'm concerned, and I'm not wired that way. It's not in my DNA to do that. And so I'm sorry if you guys feel that I was being exploitive in some way, but I don't believe I was. I was asked for a link to join me, and far be it from me to not let this man speak his mind on this channel. Yeah, thank you, Margot. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm just not getting a vibe that this guy. If this guy's gonna lose his fucking temper and scream the N-word over and over and over again, how has this guy not slipped with all of the hours he's put in on somebody's channel on YouTube for the past 2 years? And this guy has slipped in every other possible way that he can, except for incriminating himself in Summer's disappearance. He hasn't done that at all. Him or Candace, neither one of them have done this. So how is it? It's really ironic to me that these idiots with their YouTube channels are painting this picture, because it just doesn't add up. You know what I mean? You're not on one side of your mouth going to sit here and convince me that these are people capable of doing something to their daughter and disappearing her, and you expect me to believe this because of all of the shit that we've seen them say and do on YouTube, yet they never once slip up about what everybody's trying to drill them on. Make it make sense. I know, Catherine 662. I say 100 times. Right, Petty Patty. I mean, these people get fucking wasted drunk and go on YouTube streams and they never incriminate themselves except for making themselves seem racist, making themselves seem abusive towards each other, but never any indication that they would actually hurt one of their children. Not one indication. The only indication is that their boys don't live with them anymore and that CPS took them for whatever those reasons are. I was not about to ask him that. So, I mean, dude, the question of whether or not Don is racist, I mean, honestly, if I'm being totally honest, I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for this. I mean, any racism sucks, but it's not relevant to Summer's case. I dare I say I don't give a shit if Don is racist or not. You know, I don't care. I don't have to interact with him. He doesn't work for me in my place of business. I don't have to live with the person. You know what I mean? None of it just doesn't have anything to do with Summer's whereabouts at all. So, you know what I mean? He got on here and he apologized for saying it. Whether or not he's apologizing because he revealed who he is or because he just was angry and saying horrible shit, whatever the fuck, I don't care, because it's got nothing to do with Summer's whereabouts. Like I said, I don't have to interact with this person. So yeah, I mean, I hope he takes heed to my suggestions as well. I really do. I hope that he just stops going on YouTube channels and just starts like recording these idiots talking about him. And gets a lawyer to take action. Happy life, Jay. Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate that. I mean, by going on those channels, he's just feeding the frenzy, man. And he's not going to get a different result. You know, I hope he's listening still, because, you know, I mean, Einstein's definition of insanity was doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So, I mean, he's got to knock that shit off if he wants, you know, and I get it. I get that, like, when you feel attacked, you feel the need to defend yourself. You know what I mean? I get that. But at this point, I think it's very, very clear that, right. No, Sinner 1977. That is an excellent point. This is a YouTube channel, and he was here and he came up here. But the main reason why I had him up here was just to clear certain things up. It's just to clear certain things up and express to him verbally that I hope that he takes legal action against the Chris McDonoughs and the No Fit Thanks and the labs of YouTube. I hope that he decides to take legal action against these people for the sake of other parents that are dealing with this, other family members that are dealing with this type of online abuse. I would like to see an example made of these YouTubers. So and again, he asked me if he could come up here, and I let him up here. And I don't regret it for 1 second. I realized some criticism in the chat about it, and you're entitled to your opinions. And that's fine. But yeah, like I said, far be it from me. What am I going to do? Be like, no, fuck you, Don. You can't come up here. The guy wanted to come up here, speak his mind. He wanted to come up here and apologize for his racist comments. And, you know, I mean, that says something. He took responsibility for it. He didn't make any excuses for it. He just apologized. I think that's worth something. I don't know what it's worth exactly, but I think it's worth something. It says something about his character. I'm not going to sit here and say that this is a perfect stand-up guy. I don't fucking know the guy, you know, but right. Catlin. Yeah. There was a damned if I do, damned if I don't type situation for sure. I mean, I appreciate that, Smoky Blue Days. My thing is, we have questions. You know, I mean, I talk about people talking about this dude all the time. I'm not going to let him up here and talk to me. That's crazy. You know what I'm going to do? All right. All right. That phone number on the screen, you can call in. Anybody who's got questions, anybody who's got opinions, please feel free to call and express them. You're more than welcome to. All right. You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, this is Chaos.
Hi, Cass.
I think you did a great job on this interview. I know people are complaining about Don. They don't like him for many reasons. But bottom of the line, he's got a missing child.
Right.
And he deserves to be able to speak his piece and talk about his child. I think he did great tonight. He doesn't always. And you did great. And I appreciate you giving him the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. That means a lot. I really appreciate that. And you're right. He is the father of a missing child, and there's no evidence against him whatsoever. And regardless of what we think of his character, if we're talking about his missing child and we're trying to, and we care about her being found, I am not going to deny this man an opportunity to speak his mind, like you said. He has the right. So,
yes.
Thank you so much. I'm going to take this next caller.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. You're on. Who am I speaking with?
This is Celie.
Hi, Celie.
Hi. Thank you so much for talking to him. I actually just found you again today. I saw you like a year ago or so. And I was looking for Canceled Karen because I got so annoyed with her. So I would just watch her and just wish I could call into her show. So I was looking her up and I found you and I binge watched all your shows today. So I watched everything on the Don Wells, and I think that, you know, there's no evidence of anything and it's all just about clicks. And I think what you did today took a lot of courage. So
thank you. I mean, it's not what I had planned for today at all, but I mean, I'm glad it happened. I'm glad that he trusted me to call in and talk to me, and I'm glad that we were able to have some dialogue between us.
Right. The only thing I get suspicious about is whenever it comes to Candace, he seems to totally avoid that completely. I was, putting a couple times in the chat, ask more about Candace because he would go off subject or not answer the question. And I don't know.
Well, the impression that I get about Candace is she'll do YouTube from time to time, but she does not like to be on a YouTube channel talking about Summer. I mean, it's over and over. I asked him questions that this guy has answered 100,000 times.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I didn't like asking him, but at the same time, it's like, I've got him up here. Let me just, I don't want to get shit for not asking him certain things. And this is, at the end of the day, all about Summer.
Exactly.
And so I wanted to know where he was at. Where's his head these days? What's, you know what I mean? Like, and it sounded to me like he's holding out hope as best as he can, but he's also a realist. And what he believes happened to Summer, he believes at least believes that she's alive,
Right. And he is right about, I'm a foster, I actually adopted a baby from DCFS. I took in foster kids for years. And it's true, when I wanted to adopt a child, they made it really tough on the parents to get those kids back. More so than if I said, if there's a kid that's being, placed from one place to another and they're having a hard time placing them, if there's a foster parent and those parents, the foster parents are like, I want to adopt these kids. Because number one, I thought I was just getting money for the child I adopted because he had special needs. But I looked back through my paperwork because you have to go through extensive background checks and, they talk to your neighbors, they do psychological testing on you, everything before you can become a foster parent. But when you want to adopt, you can adopt the kids and you still get money. You still get the same check.
Right.
And But if you're a foster parent and you say, I want to adopt these kids, they make it super hard on those parents to get their kids back.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's a good thing, I would say, only because, I mean, how familiar are you with the Oakley Carlson case?
I'm surprised I don't know about that. I know about every case.
Well,
all I do is watch YouTube crime.
Well, Oakley Carlson is a little 5-year-old girl that went missing. And she had loving, caring foster parents, and then the system took those kids away and gave them back to her natural parents.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And then her natural parents, and they ended up getting locked up in jail. They're meth heads.
Right.
And the siblings of Oakley tested extremely high for methamphetamine in their systems. So I mean, and this was a result of the system taking the child out of foster care and giving them back to the natural parents.
Right, but there's an outline of what foster parents have to do. With one of the foster girls that I took in, I actually worked with the mother. I let her come into my house and watch me being a parent to help her to get her child back.
Right.
And I wanted to start something. I live in Chicago, but I wanted to, in suburbs of Chicago, I wanted to start something where foster parents would actually work, because it's not about, like you said before on your show, the system is not about taking kids and keeping them in the system. The way the system was developed was to get children back with the families. That's what it's all about. That's what it's supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about them getting reunited with the family.
Right.
That's
the objective, is to maintain the family, to preserve the family. So that's why it's called family services.
Right.
So, but I found it interesting because you and I share this opinion, and he thinks Don was talking about how it's just big business, and it's the opposite, that they want to take kids and keep them.
Right. The only thing where I have a problem is, like with, the financial stuff. I mean, if they would put some of that money into the parents to help them get back on, put a little bit more, invest a little bit more into the families, but I could get all political, on that. But I just think that there should be, where the foster parents can kind of work with the parents. He's legally right to talk to his kids. I don't know what's going on. But even if he's not going to classes or anything, they have supervised visits that they do in their offices. That there's no reason why he shouldn't be able to see his kids. That's absolutely absurd.
Right. I find that interesting too. But the thing is, that's another thing that people aren't taking into consideration. I guarantee you that those kids have been forensically interviewed about Summer's disappearance. Guaranteed.
Yes.
So
there was just the case with the Orrin and Olsen West.
Right.
Where one of the foster kids went back and talked about the parents and stuff. So they are extensively interviewing those kids. And if those kids say that they saw Summer walk in the house, then their story hasn't changed, and it's lining up with what Candace is saying, those kids would have said something by now.
Right.
So the reason that Don hasn't said anything, Candace and all their drunken rage, or even when they've gotten mad at each other and have fought, you would think the first thing they would say if they had something on each other, I'm going to tell.
Right. Exactly. Like, we've seen them fight like cats and dogs, and not even one allusion towards Summer's disappearance and somebody having something to do with it. Not even that.
Right.
I mean, I think there was the one time where Don said something about Candace, like, I don't know about Candace or something like that. That was like a year ago, and everybody made a big deal out of that. But I mean, that's not, that's not even in comparison to everything else that this dude has said and done so publicly. Why isn't there more slip ups? It doesn't make sense. Again, these are not criminal masterminds here. They're just not. You can tell how careless they can be.
And I just got a feeling too that you're setting the stage because what happened was one YouTuber started getting clicks because he took a certain stance, and then he had all these other followers doing the same thing. That's easy. It doesn't take much, intelligence to do that. I could do that. So another YouTuber started doing it, and they saw that, and other people were getting all these reviews doing it. So there was just this flow of what started happening on YouTube. And I think the stance that you took, I pray to God that that's going to start a new, line, because you're not saying he's, anything. You're just saying, let's stick with the facts here. And if the, cops and the FBI haven't gotten anything, these people have gone to school to do interviews and to catch people in the smallest of lies.
You're going to tell me
and if there was anything that he did to mess up, he'd be gone.
3 different law enforcement agencies, and this guy can't even hold his tongue from saying the N-word out of anger. And he outsmarted 3 different law enforcement agencies and never alluded to anything on YouTube as much time as he spent on it. It doesn't add up. That dog just don't hunt. I'm sorry. It's crazy to me. And it's, notice the people who are jumping to these conclusions, they're all the most unscrupulous shitbags on YouTube. You know what I mean? So it's like,
and then Dan said something the other day on one of the channels. I don't know which one it was, but he said something new. He added something new to the story, and that was that the day before Summer got whatever, that Summer said to her dad, she said, "Can I go play on the roof?" And he let the kids go on the roof of his house.
Right.
And so this was something new that we never heard in 2 years. So, that then there's all these, speculations that perhaps she fell. If they were playing on the roof, that maybe the next day when she was walking in the house, she walked out the back door, they left the ladder up, and somehow she climbed back on the roof. So now there's all this.
I mean, that's a lot of speculation on very little information. You know what I mean? Like that's insane to just come up with, so you get this.
Come up with a whole dialogue because he said one thing, but that's what he's doing to himself by going on these damn channels. He's
whole
giving
scenario.
them all the ammunition they need.
Yeah, like the whole scenario they come up with based on a parent letting their kid play on the roof,
Exactly.
Or, who didn't climb on their roof as a kid? You know what I mean?
Right. I used to jump in the snow. I don't know how high, and I don't think his roofs are that high, but.
And why would they cover it up?
It's a peaked roof, but I don't know. But anyways, regardless, I don't know what they do out there in Tennessee in the middle of the mountains, but let's go play on the roof.
Somebody, right. A kid plays on the roof and then falls off, and then, God forbid, meets their demise. They're not going to be charged criminally for that. That's an accident. Why would they lie about it? Why would they cover it up? It makes no sense.
Right. And her first call, if it would have been, if something would have happened, it still would have been to Don, I would think, or hopefully it would be to 911. But she would have said, Summer got hurt. So in those few seconds right there, when he got the phone call, he immediately called 911, and that's documented. So, and he said, "Doctor, my daughter's missing."
Yeah, they're trying to say that why didn't Candace call 911 immediately? Like, no parent does that. Parent they look for the kid. They call dad and go, "Hey, for any reason, I can't find Summer. Did you maybe pick her up and I didn't know what, what I mean?"
Exactly.
Like, this stuff goes down that way, more or less.
Yeah.
And then they call 911. Then they report the child missing. That's what happens.
Right.
They
and plus she just was like, you know, come help me look, or what do I do next?
Yeah.
And it seems like she follows Don, so she's like, what do I do? You know, and you know, there's just all these speculations, and the thing is that there's no facts, and I have felt watching all of this come down for the last 2 years, I'm sitting here watching it thinking, I don't know what happened, but something's just not clicking here for them to be guilty. It's just not, I've looked to find it, and there's no evidence that would indicate, I mean, were they the greatest? Did they have their own, you know, you can find things that you might not agree with in their lifestyle, but does that mean that they're murderers? You know?
Yeah, I mean, that's a hell of a leap when you have no information as to what happened to her. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's just irresponsible to jump to the conclusion that they did something when you don't even know what that something is. You don't even have any idea what that something is.
Right. Right. And I know from talking to foster parents that have lost their kids, the foster parents would say to me they couldn't even put pictures up of their kids because it hurt so bad to look at them, you know, for them not to be around, you know. So, you know, I don't know, but I just see Candace as being extremely brokenhearted. I see Chris McDonough, he's a cop. He knew how to manipulate them, and he should be the first one on the list.
Agreed. Agreed. I mean, what precedence? He's the one who should be setting an example of responsible YouTube.
Exactly.
If he's going to cover crime cases. So
yeah,
that's why I told him, you know, like I really wanted to be able to tell him directly and publicly, like, stop going on YouTube channels and get a lawyer and sue the balls off of every single one of these people. Like,
right.
I mean,
and you won't have to work for a while. Because what the other people have done by stating facts out there that aren't true, it's the same thing that canceled Karen did. It's the exact same thing she did, and that she got taken off of YouTube, and that she got sued for what, $10 million?
Yeah,
was $100 million?
It was 10.
10, yeah. So, you know, so these other people have done the exact same things that she has done, and somebody took. You know, they took it under, you know, the law, and then they got not that they're going to see a penny, but, you know, Chris McDonough has some money that they can get.
Yeah, I know that's it's not about the money to Ray Andriacchio. It's about
oh yeah,
drawing a line and saying this is not okay, and I'm going to make an example of you. She doesn't expect to get $10 million. She knows Kay doesn't have $10 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
she's just expecting to hurt her wallet to the point to where she knows better, and the word gets around, don't do this because this is what's going to happen to you.
Right. And she still could never even admit she was wrong about that. Not
at all. She couldn't even face responsibility during her suit. Like, she wouldn't even show up to a telephonic court appearance.
Right.
What?
But she was so positive. She would have taken anybody up. I mean, I tried to get on her. She actually hung up on me. But I tried to get up on her panel when she was talking about the Andraki case, because I had already looked at that case and I had my feelings about it. And she was, you know, she's pretty good to argue with too. You know, she puts the button on so they can't hear what you're saying, puts your mute too, and whatever. But you know, she didn't like anybody disagreeing with her. You know, she was so strong in her opinion then, but where's the strong opinion now when it went to court? And I think Chris McDonough would be in the same frickin' place if he was faced with facts in a court of law.
Right. That's the thing, is he knows the difference between fact and irresponsible speculation. Like, you know, that's the reason why cops preserve the integrity of an investigation. Because there's, you know, what he's doing is just irresponsible. I mean, and I remember when he first did it. I remember when he first interviewed that Hunter kid. Like, he put it behind a paywall. He made it a members only live. He made it a members only stream, and put it behind a paywall.
Right. Because he knew it was wrong.
Right. I mean, and there was a shit ton. Like, it was crazy. There was thousands watching him. And I mean, just green. Like that dude made so much money, basically exploiting a 15-year-old kid to exploit a missing 5-year-old.
Right. It was just ridiculous. And I got to tell you, you got an awesome chat too. For the most part, I was watching all the comments in the chat, and for the most part, you got a chat that has an open mind and that looks for facts. And I don't know where Chris McDonough gets all his. I don't know where these people are coming from. These other channels. Who are these people? That aren't sticking to the facts. I mean, that's what we do, and that's what the court does when we go there. And God forbid any one of us would be, scrupuloused or misjudged for something we did, if it happened to anybody. So sticking to the facts. And for the most part, your chat was, pretty much respecting you and, talking to Don, their prayers were with them. They're telling them, put ice on your back. And it was really nice to see.
Well, I didn't tell him to put ice, just told him to stay off of it.
No, you did. Yeah. The chat was saying ice.
Oh,
ice.
Yeah. I mean, my chat's full of awesome people, man. Like, I'm not looking to have, if I'm gonna get a bunch of subscribers, like, I want it to be for good reasons, not, you know what I mean? Like, I much prefer having a quality chat than a quantity chat, So I'm really grateful that everybody in the chat.
I watch everything. I watch every single YouTuber that's out there, and you drink out of the same blue cup your coffee that you did a year ago. So I was like,
no, 4 years ago. It's the same cup for 4 years. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I'm just like that. Like,
I remember you
I
on
like
a couch with a hat on.
I like to eat off the same plate. I like to drink out of the same cup.
Really?
Yeah. I'm just weird like that. Yeah, I'm just weird like that.
Well, thank you so much for what you're doing, and I enjoy your show a lot.
Thank you. That means a lot. I appreciate you calling in.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye.
All right. I can take another call if anybody else wants to call in. Yeah, I just like, when are these fucking hating shit people going to like realize and just pay attention to facts? It's just incredible to me that these are people who think that they're smart and they're not looking at anything that is even remotely tangible evidence of anything and jumping to insane conclusions. It makes no sense. Watching from Alaska. Welcome. Nice. I mean, he doesn't even have a point to anything he was saying. Like, yeah, so yeah, Juana Michelle, I have I found a t-shirt company that I really like, and I like to support small businesses as much as I can. And there's a t-shirt company called T Public where I like to get my t-shirts from. I've got another one on the way, actually. Should be here in the next couple of days. But yeah, T Public is where I order my t-shirts from, and I have a questionably unhealthy addiction to t-shirts. So Yeah, no, Dietz is right. Baby Gap. That's where I shop. You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, my name is Eve. I'm going to be one of the only people that will come up here and disagree with you a little bit.
No,
So
you said disagree?
what it seems like, yes,
Okay.
disagree just a little bit.
No,
I
you're
believe
fine.
innocent until proven guilty, so I'll start off there. And then I'll also say that I don't dislike Don, but I don't like the things that I've personally seen that he's guilty of. Some of the stuff that's already been mentioned and he's already admitted to and apologized. But what I don't understand is that there are some facts that would lead some people to believe that a parent would be the first to be suspected when a child goes missing. 90% of children that go missing are because of the parents.
Yeah, but that's not evidence. You see what I'm saying?
No, I'm not saying it's evidence.
I'm aware
saying
of the
it's just
statistics, but
right, so it's not unheard of that would be the first people that people would suspect.
Sure.
Especially if there's nothing leading it away from that.
Well, there is. If you want to talk about their behavior, I mean, because you got to also take into consideration it's been 2 years.
I'm not bringing up their behavior. I just started off with me saying I don't hate him, and I wanted to say why. I don't like what he's done, but I don't hate him, and I would definitely want him to have his day in court if that it came down to that. But what I'm saying is to call people any names just because they would consider the chance that the parent might be the one that's guilty when the statistics are so high and there's no other evidence leading away from it.
Well, the issue with that, there's a few issues with that. You can't assume someone's guilty of a crime that A, you don't even know took place, and B, simply because of statistics. Because you're playing a very dangerous game with their lives. They're already common decency dictates that you have to assume that these parents, just because they're not anything like you or me, you have to assume that these people are missing their child. Otherwise, your morality it needs work, to say the least.
Well, we're not going to go on morals because we already determined morality is out the window right now when it comes to that couple. But what I'm not even.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with?
For you.
See, that's the thing.
Is I'm not even talking about them, Claire. I'm talking about you and anybody else that wouldn't give some sort of foundation to people that might think that parents are to be suspected, not to be assumed guilty, but to be considered, because it is a large percentage of parents that go and do stuff like this.
But you're saying you're basing everything on that. Hold on a second. You're basing everything on that statistic. A. B. This you're also saying that there's no evidence to indicate that they're not responsible, which I think is untrue.
No,
because
I did not say that. No, I did not say that. What I said was there was no evidence pointing elsewhere.
Okay.
I didn't
so
say
we're
that.
supposed to point our fingers at them because of a 90%.
No, I'm just saying you can't fault people. No, I'm just saying you can't fault people for thinking that. I'm not saying that anybody should hold them guilty. I don't think that they should be holding full everyday lives on why they're guilty. But to fault people for even questioning it or putting them on the suspect list or not trusting them.
But see, that's the thing is it's not our place to do that. We're not law enforcement. We're not investigators. We're not detectives. We are simply YouTubers who the responsible thing to do if you have a channel and people listen to you is to pay attention to facts that are confirmed by law enforcement. And we don't have any of those facts. So just because we're not provided with those facts, it doesn't give us the right to start making assumptions about people's guilt and start making irresponsible speculations about people's guilt.
I mean, some of the channels are not for facts; they're for entertainment. I'm not going to name any, but for your channel, you had them on, right?
That's all we are. That's all we're for. That's our responsibility, is to entertain. This is entertainment. This is all it is. So
you had him on your show, and I'll end with this because I really didn't want to convince you. I just wanted to come in here and say, like, we're not all dummies. We're not all like trying to say he's guilty. I just don't particularly like his past, and I wouldn't believe anything that came out of his mouth based on his past and his present, even if he apologized. But my point is this: on you getting him on your show, I would like to know. I did watch most of it. I don't know exactly how much I missed, but sometimes my ADD kicks in. But I think I caught most of it. But I just don't think that I learned anything new today. If you were trying to give him a platform about baby girl, I'm drawing a blank right now.
I gave him a platform to speak on because he asked for it. And I'm always going to give the parent of a missing child the platform if they ask for it.
Say again?
I gave him a platform to speak on because he asked me for it. So I'm always going to give a parent of a missing child my platform to speak on if they want it. I mean, why would I deny him that?
Right. So how much did he actually talk about the baby?
How much did he talk about what?
About her being missing, and
as much as I asked him about. Like, he answered every question that I asked him. He wasn't elusive. He wasn't combative or elusive. He answered everything perfectly directly.
Sorry, I'm sick, so I apologize coughing in your ear. Well, I'm going to have to re-listen because I really didn't hear much about her or how we can find Summer, or what was the last person to see her. Do we know who the last person was to see her?
As far as I know, it's Candace. I could be wrong about that, but I don't know. But that's not my job to know that. That's not your job to know that. That's nobody's business. That's law enforcement's. There are 3 different law enforcement agencies charged with the responsibility of finding Summer. They're qualified. We're not. So
I get that, but what was his agenda coming on? If he wasn't going to talk about Summer or how to find her, then what was his agenda coming on?
He did talk about Summer.
So what did we learn?
Nothing new, because law enforcement, I mean, he's gone over it 100 times. You know what I mean? Nobody.
So he came on to defend his character, or to talk about how to find Summer?
I mean, what difference does it make?
It makes a difference. If it was about Summer, then I'm all for it. If it's to defend his character, I mean, he's been doing a tour on that. Does he need to do it one more time?
I mean, I agree with you in the sense that it's a bad look, in the sense that he just can't seem to handle being lied on and drug on different YouTube channels. I mean, it's frustrating, and there's people lining their pockets doing it.
Right.
So I mean, what did you expect him to come up here and do? Say the same things, which he did anyway, but say the same things over and over and over again that he said 1,000,000 times and answered 1,000,000 times, that he's answered law enforcement. He took a lie detector test and passed it. They searched his property God knows how many times. They went and saw him in jail and questioned him. They talked to him again after he got out of jail. I mean, what else is there? I don't understand what you're trying to establish here.
His agenda. I'm just questioning why one more channel. But I'll agree with you on this, and I thank you for your kindness and your patience with me. But I'll agree with you on this. He should get a lawyer, and he should stay off of YouTube.
Agreed.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good one. Feel better. All right. I can take another one if anybody wants to call. Y'all are brutal in the chat, man. I mean, she was okay. I just didn't agree with her, and I thought she was very respectful calling in and with what she disagreed with me about. But I mean, it goes to say what people's mindset is. Like, I mean, you're never going to justify to me. You're never going to justify to me the dragging of these people on YouTube. You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, it's Beats.
What's
I
up,
wasn't gonna
Beats?
call in, but after that last call, I wanted to talk a little bit about those statistics because she's right. 90% of children are abducted by a non-custodial parent or
Right.
family, a familial abduction. However, 2% of children are abducted by non-family members. So there's a big gap there, as well as those 90% of children that are abducted by family members. Do you know how quickly they're typically found?
No.
I might be a little bit wrong on it, but I think it's like 78 to 80% of them are found within 72 hours. So there's
Right.
a lot more that goes into these statistics than just saying, oh, 90% are abducted by families.
Right. And even with those statistics, and I realize you're kind of poking holes in that argument, which it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that. But the main concern of mine is, why is everyone like using that to hang on to as an excuse for throwing accusations at these people without any evidence? You know what I mean? Like, you're just going to throw around a statistic and base your bullshit on that? That's
right. Just because the statistic says that 90% are abducted by, a family member, doesn't mean that there's still the other 8% that it's for different reasons. But, that 2% that are not found quickly, are not recovered quickly, it doesn't mean that it is the family member. You know what I mean?
right.
There's so many other variables that go into that.
Right.
And so I don't know. It just kind of grinds my gears a little bit when that gets thrown out that there's, typically it is a family member.
Right. I mean, if you're trying to sound smart because you know a statistic, like, know the statistic. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you're gonna throw that statistic around, but like, make sure you understand the statistic and be ready to explain it in full the way that you just did.
Right. Someone mentioned that leaves 10% that's not taken by family. Unfortunately, that's not the case. The 8% is like probably undocumented, various, but it is 2% that is typically is what we have from the data, that it's non-family members. I know that leaves an 8% gap, like I said earlier. Where that 8% gap is, I'm not quite sure, but those are the statistics. It's kind of weird, but I think a lot of it comes from not having enough information to input and figure out those things. But you have to remember, I'm sorry, I'm digressing a little, or I'm going back a little bit, but you have to remember that Summer's case had 3 main agencies: the local law enforcement, the TBI, and the FBI looking into it for, the FBI was there for over a month, close to a month. Anyway, those 3 agencies were looking into it and investigating it, as well as Lawson said, I do believe there was about almost 20 search agencies actively searching for Summer that entire 3.5 weeks. So there were so many people searching for her, but then there was also, you have to remember, the investigation wasn't just, a lot of people don't have faith in local law enforcement, but the TBI and the FBI were also there investigating these parents, and we still don't have anything pointing towards their guilt.
Nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, it's like I mentioned earlier too. Like, think about it. Like, they have 2 other kids or 3 other kids that's in that's that's in the state's custody, and you're going to tell me that they didn't conduct forensic interviews on those kids?
Oh, right.
You know what I mean?
And
Like,
if you do a little bit of research into the card team is phenomenal. This is not just like FBI, local, Knoxville FBI agents or Nashville FBI agents. The card team is a very elite team. It's highly trained team. It is literally the best of the best. So it's very interesting that you have them coming in and being active in this case, and we don't have anything there.
yeah, see, Rowena Sudpucker, let's be careful how we word things. You're saying card team said no abduction. That's LE saying there was no abduction. No, what they said was there was no evidence of an abduction.
No evidence.
That's
correct.
A very big difference. It doesn't mean an abduction didn't happen. It doesn't mean that they're saying that there was no abduction. They're saying that there's no evidence of an abduction.
Right. They said there's no evidence of an abduction, and you have to keep on the table the possibility of foul play, as well as the high likelihood that she wandered off. That's
right.
Exactly what they said.
Right.
But basically, we don't know, which is crazy in this day and age, but it is what it is, unfortunately.
I mean, and I'd never heard Don really talk about the search, which was interesting because, he was talking about how, like, he was praising law enforcement. You know what I mean? He was praising law enforcement for doing everything that they can. He feels that they did a great job searching and searched as hard as they could. Saw a couple people actually get hurt during the search, which actually enforces the point that law enforcement did not want volunteer help in the search because of how dangerous that terrain is and how risky it was. They were like, we don't want to end up, we're looking for a missing child here. We don't want to end up looking for missing volunteers too,
Right.
And I mean, that's exactly what Sheriff Lawson said. So, I mean, it was really interesting to hear Don go, yeah, I mean, there was people that got hurt searching for Summer, Yeah,
they had a lot of people that got hurt. It's very rough terrain. I mean, if you will look at some of the footage, and if you've ever been there, just knowing Tennessee and the mountainous areas, it's very rough terrain.
Yeah,
they wanted to be very careful.
I live even further away from Rogersville now, and I walk 2 miles to the gym every day, right? And it's a great way to get my cardio in without having to do it there. It's great. But and it's funny. I walk by, it's like you could see there's mountains like really like nearby, but I'm not like right next to a mountain. Well, some, yeah, at one point. And it's crazy, just like the busiest road that I walk along, I will see, I've never seen one in real life, but like an actual animal beaver, like like I see them all the time. It's crazy. There's these little nests that they have, and I see 2 or 3 of them every time I walk by. I've never seen that before, and it's really cool. And it's interesting because like a couple of times just recently, a cop stopped me as I was walking, and he was like, yo, man, because I live in a really small town, so I guess everyone sees everything.
Knows everyone. Yeah.
Right. And he's like, yo, man, he's like, do you really walk all the way down to that gym every day? And I was like, yeah.
It's pretty rare nowadays.
I was like, yeah. He's
towns, like, wait, you're walking? What?
Yeah. He was really cool. He was like, man, respect. And I was like, yeah, I was like, I'm a content creator on YouTube, and I just, I got time, and I just refuse to just sit around, and he's like, he asked me what I do, what I talked about, and Summer Wells came up. I told him I talk about crime cases, and they basically call out the people who are exploiting victims and their families mostly.
Right.
And he was like, wow, he's like, I'm gonna check it out, you know. And he's like, I love that you're doing that. He's like, if you need anything, you let me know. You let us know, is what he said. So now,
And
now the cops, the local cops like me, so that's nice. That's nice. But to get that validation from an actual police officer, you know what I mean?
That's great.
It's really
I
nice.
love hearing stuff like that.
Yeah, it's really, really nice, you know. To, you know, because sometimes, you know, it gets to you and you're just like, man, this is just so ugly. Does anybody really give a shit, you know?
Yep.
And then
No, exactly, you do.
yeah, and so, you know, when a cop was just wondering why the hell what the hell is possessing me to walk that far to go work out,
It's nice to get that validation,
right.
for sure. It truly is. And Chaos said you're just like the JLR now.
Well, but that's what's really funny is I mean, Don was talking about how nobody heard of Summer. Well, how the police officer was talking to him about his stepsister, never heard of Summer. But this guy, he knew, like I said, I'm on another side of Tennessee than Rogersville. So
they had brought in people from over by Nashville. There were search and rescue crews that came from that far away, different states. So, I mean, it's a high likelihood that people in, 300-400 mile radius do know more about it. But I do remember watching Chasing stream last year when she was walking through Kingsport, and she was asking people if they had heard of Summer, and they haven't. And so I think that there's just, law enforcement, they're going to be a little more likely to know about it because there's that area might have helped, So,
but that's what I'm trying to say, though. People, I know he's law enforcement, but at the same time, we're so far from Rogersville, and yet he still knew about the case, and Hawkins County thinks
it's huge. It's huge. She's been on the Amber Alert an extremely long time. Amber Alerts are typically resolved in a speedy manner. There are some that aren't, obviously. There's a percentage that aren't, but she's I think she's the only one on Tennessee's Amber Alert. She was for the longest time. There might be another one on there now, but
I'm
when
telling
you
you,
look at Tennessee's Amber Alerts, typically, Summers remains on there when others aren't, and so I'm glad that the local, even that far away, know about her.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is, like, I think I said it either on my live before or on Queen's panel when you were up there. That, I mean, every convenience store where they sell lottery has a monitor, and Summer's picture and information always pops up on that. So, I mean, people know what's going on,
she'll remain on there until her case is solved. The Amber Alert will remain active for her until her case is resolved. So, I mean, that's great news because it keeps her face out there, like you said.
Nobody's forgotten about her, and I think law enforcement's doing what the best they can, and Don and Candace seem convinced of it too. So, I mean, what else do you need?
Right. And when you have that many agencies, and again, the best of the best looking into it, going back to what you said earlier in the stream, I don't understand how people think that Don and Candace have fooled us all, can carry out
that just doesn't add up,
and continue not to spill or leak anything of substance in, their entire almost 2 years on social media.
Right. I mean, you're just gonna, like, in the heat of totally losing your temper, drop the N-bomb a bunch of times, but you're never ever once going to slip up about, doing something to this child and then covering it up. Like, it just, like I said, I'm not getting the criminal mastermind vibe from those two. And you can't have one and the other. You just can't. You're not going to sit here and convince me that they're idiots because of everything that they're saying and doing on YouTube, and then on the other side of your mouth say that they're criminal masterminds that are covering it up and lying. It just doesn't add up,
And so the narrative becomes that you are now a Wells supporter because you don't believe that they were capable of this, which is kind of a crazy narrative in my mind. I'm not a Wells supporter. I'm a Summer Wells supporter, and I support her being found and her case, but my personal opinions of Dawn and Candace have nothing to do with her case.
Right.
And the fact that we have all this leaked information from them that typically just point to who they are as individuals and the things that they have done and their unsavory characters. But that doesn't point towards any guilt towards being involved.
That's what I'm saying.
Some are disappearing.
Agreed. That, people are like, they're elusive. No, they just don't know. How many times do you have to hear them go, I don't know. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know what happened to their child.
Broken individuals, and I don't know if it's life. I don't know if it's their daughter going missing. I don't know if it's their son being taken into custody. I don't know if it's a combination of all those things. I don't know if it's the addiction. I don't know what it is, but they seem extremely broken, and their behaviors are completely unsavory to anyone that's looking. And you wrap all that up in a ball, and it creates this social media fodder that continues to escalate. But does any of it point towards them being involved?
Nothing.
Right?
I mean, nothing. That's what I'm saying. 3 different law enforcement agencies, and one of them is the FBI, where they just they have a division in the FBI that's just dedicated to finding missing people, finding out what happened to missing people. And these people, these professionals are not going to get to the bottom of Dawn and Candace,
Right. Look at YouTube, and I'm sorry, you can cut me off and tell me to hop down wherever you want if I'm blabbering, but look at past cases here on YouTube. Look at JJ Rowland's case. Everyone was ready to crucify his parents because, the claim was, well, they did the helicopters at night with the heat-seeking stuff, and he wasn't found, so he wasn't in the woods, so they must have done something to him. And then what happened? Very next day, he's found in the woods. Apply that to Summer's case. Is it possible that the equipment used in her case missed her in those woods? And not just that, look at Athena Strand's case. Everybody was ready to crucify the stepmother who let the little girl go outside, and they thought that she seriously had something to do with it.
It happens every time. It happens.
It was the truck driver. I mean, there's so many things that just because it looks one way to us and we can't see past they were involved, it doesn't mean that that's what it is.
Right. I mean, there's an infinite amount of possibilities. There's, and there's another case that I refer to a lot too. There's the Heidi Broussard case took place a few years ago, and everyone was crucifying Shane Carey, her boyfriend, the baby's daddy. And the infant went missing, and her, and the baby was found safe. She unfortunately was murdered, but they found the baby safe. But everyone thought that Shane Carey was responsible, and they were picking apart his television interview, and he's crying. I mean, what do you want the guy to do? And then sure enough, it turns out to have been this other weird, crazy friend of hers that she had that faked her pregnancy the whole time. And right. I mean, what? You know what I mean? And this poor guy now, you know, he got dragged all over the internet while his wife or his girlfriend is deceased somewhere, and his baby is in the hands of a murderer, you know, and then after the fact, you know, yeah, it's solved, but I mean, that damage is done, you know, and now this poor guy has to like raise this baby on his own. He never saw this coming. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And we just like, how can, you know what I
Some of them
mean?
are so mind blowing. Cases like that. Some of
Why
them,
is
they
it
just
so
blow
hard
my
for us
mind.
to be more careful? You know, and it just, I don't understand why it's so difficult for us to just simply, you know, like Julie said, engage with empathy.
Right. Engaging with empathy is all we can and should be doing. I like the recommendation of stay off YouTube, because if I'm being honest, and this is my opinion, not the glare, so don't put it on him, I completely agree. They're not helping their daughter's case by being on YouTube in the condition that they are in. Because, you know, we've seen Brandy Neal out here on YouTube, and she is helping her son's case and helping further it where it's going. But we didn't see her on social media for a while. And I think that maybe it took her time to get into the place where she could go. And Dawn and Candace, in my opinion, just don't seem like they're in a place where they're being beneficial, because there are these outbursts and these you know, drunken rants and all those things, and it becomes fodder. Like you have, you know, Doug with this call that he recorded without Dawn's knowledge, and it paints a picture of him. How is that helping Summer?
Right. And I loved how Don, you know, he didn't play victim. I asked him straight up, like, did you know he was recording that conversation? And then immediately he went to self-blame. Like, I should have known that he was going to do that, blah, blah, blah. It's my fault. You know, like, you're going to tell me that this
screwed over by so many YouTubers.
There's nothing about this guy that tells me that he did something to Summer and is covering it up. There's nothing to indicate that to me. You know,
you would have to be, in my opinion, you have to be extremely brilliant and intelligent and calculated to continue on social media and pull the wool over everyone's eyes, or extremely dumb to do so, but something's going to slip out. And here we are 2 years later.
Nothing.
And what has slipped out?
And like I said, we're talking, I mean, this guy, how many times has he gotten shit-faced drunk and just babbling, you know, on someone's live stream, and nothing. Really? Dude, I sat there, I listened to this guy. He was so wasted one time.
But I have to give him credit. Out of all the creators that have had Don on panel, and Don has decided to urinate or do things with his pants down, I was the only one who shut that down. And I don't understand that either. As a YouTube creator, it's your responsibility to shut that down if you're engaging with empathy. Had Don peed on your live tonight, I fully believe you would have shut it down and made sure.
Oh, I totally would have. Yeah.
Display.
If I would have gotten the sense that he was intoxicated, I would have scheduled something another time. I would have respectfully been like, dude, not doing it.
No,
not tonight.
So to me, that just screams, who are you as a creator that you are wanting to put that out there and wanting to showcase that? How is that beneficial? What is your purpose in that? You're not engaging these.
I had no plan on having him come in here at all. I did not think it was going to happen. I wasn't planning for it, nothing. But I'm not going to deny him, you know. And I feel bad because I know that some people got really sensitive about it in the chat. And, you know, I mean, for some reason I disappointed them. Sorry I did, but I don't feel like I did anything wrong, you know. He's the parent of a missing child, and he wanted to speak, and I'm not going to deny a parent of a missing child.
Some someone in chat said to me that, you know, like I go on Queen's panel and she reaches out to family members. Well, it doesn't matter to me. My feelings are my feelings, and my opinion is not going to change. I don't think that creators should be reaching out to family members because it creates nothing but toxicity and drama. And that's not a diss at creators who do. I appreciate some of these family interviews and things like that. And like I said, that's not going to, it doesn't change my opinion on things. And if, you know, a creator has an issue with me because I feel that way, then so be it. We'll handle it like adults. But I still feel that way. I don't think we should be reaching out to these people.
I agree.
But he came in your chat and asked for a link. You didn't reach out to him. You didn't email him. You didn't, contact him through someone else or anything like that. And maybe that's hypocritical of me. If it is, so be it. But I think that's different.
I don't think so.
I
mean, what took place was
mad respect for creators that allow them to come up and speak.
What took place was White Boy Lockdown was live, I guess, and he had Don with him. And then I guess they got wind that I was going to be going over the Doug call. And and so he sent I guess he ended his live and then sent his listeners over here, which is interesting because I used to review him and he's done some videos on me too. But and I appreciate him, I guess just, it seems like he seems like he's learned a lot about engaging with empathy in his last few months, and seems to be really trying to do the right thing with his channel for sure. And I give him credit. I'm not trying to be buddies with anybody, but I give him credit for that,
Right.
And so I'm grateful to him for that. But I can't get with the whole becoming friends with these people, because it's just there's a weird boundary there that I couldn't really explain, but it doesn't feel right to cross that boundary,
Okay, great point. And maybe that's how I should articulate it. Giving an interview to these family members is completely different than reaching out and befriending them. And that's where I think that the drama comes in. Yeah. And again, it's just my opinion, but it's not just drama for the family, it becomes drama for the creator as well. And so it's not a like, oh my gosh, you're a horrible creator for reaching out and doing that. It's I can see drama's going to be headed your way when you befriend these, victims' family members. And that's all I'm saying. It's like, of course, everybody's free to do whatever they choose
and where does it end? Like, what am I supposed to befriend, like every parent and loved one of a missing person? And then I just got this network of homies with these tragedies in their lives. You know what I mean? Like, it's bizarre to you know what I mean? Like I said, it just feels like there's a boundary that's being crossed. And I don't want to cross that boundary. I don't want to breach that boundary. I think that boundary is a safe one to, to preserve. I think it's, it
becomes awkward and icky feeling, like when you were reviewing, I don't know her name. I'm sorry. The Karen lady that you do, Crazy Karen, and the lady she interviewed after Letitia was convicted, and the YouTube, or I don't know if the other lady was a YouTuber or maybe she was just a person on Facebook who got in really tight with Letitia and had all those letters and everything. It just seems like that's too much. That's going over the line. And now she's YouTube fodder because of her relationship that she created with this individual. And again, I'm not telling anybody what to do on their channel or anything, but I think you can look at these past examples and know that those type of relationships don't lead to anything good.
Right. Right. And I'm not trash talking White Boy. I know there's a lot of people that came over here from there, and I appreciate those people, and they're they're giving some valid opinions, and I'm grateful to them for being here. But I mean, I'm not gonna, just for the sake of being nice, not point that out, that I think it's inappropriate to engage in friendships with these family members, because that's the thing is Don he's been trying to get validation from YouTubers forever, and they all they take advantage of his kind nature,
naivety, maybe.
Yeah, and naivety, yeah, for sure. They take advantage of that, and they say, "Oh, we're friends," and blah blah blah. We're, yeah, I'm going to take care of you. All I care about is finding Summer, and blah 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 blah. And then they go and record conversations without their knowledge. Oh, Don's drunk, so I'm going to record it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's just gross. And then it's like, there was one creator, I'm not going to mention his name, but he started off as friends with Don and Candace, and then something went down between them, and then he ended up alluding to them being guilty after he was supporting them and talking with them. And and my opinion of Don and Candace, as far as their involvement in Summer's disappearance goes, has always been consistent. I mean, if you go back to anything that I've said talking about this case, I have never changed my opinion, and I'm open to it if evidence comes out that dictates it, but nothing has happened.
Right. And that's why I always say, at this time, they are victims. They're victims of their daughter going missing. They're not victims in their CPS case, as far as I can tell right now.
Yeah.
They're not victims of the other things that they've displayed on YouTube or any of that stuff. But they are victims in their daughter going missing, because at this time, there's no other evidence that leads to something else. That's not to say tomorrow
the responsible
there's a
thing
TBI,
to do
press release.
yeah, because I'm not gonna look. I've said this 100 times too. I would rather be wrong about someone's guilt than their innocence. I would rather be, you know what I mean? It's safer to, common decency just dictates to just assume that they're victims. You know what I mean? And not, these people always justify it too, going, "Oh, well, if I'm wrong, I'll apologize." Well, how about don't have anything to apologize for in the first place? Why is it so difficult?
It doesn't matter. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. The allegations, everything's already put out there. They're already painted a certain way if you're wrong. So that whole "I'll apologize later if I'm wrong," that befuddles me, because you've already made the allegations. You've already made the accusations. You can't fix that. You can't change that perception that you've already put on them.
Dude, right. That's think about it. Like, that's low channel engagement if you get 1,000 views on a video where you're trashing the family, right? 1,000 views. But think about that. That's 1,000 people who heard you say that shit. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
At the same time.
And then there's a ripple. It's like a drop in the water, and how it spreads out. Like, okay, those 1,000 people then go into other chats, and then they go into their real life and spread things out, and it just gets bigger and bigger. It does. That's how it works. And I think we tend to forget that. And going back one real quick, I'm not saying that there aren't some creators who can engage with the family and never cross that line. It's just, I'm saying more often than not, it turns into drama. So for me personally, I have no desire to engage in a relationship with family or neighbors or anything like that in a missing persons case, because I've seen how toxic it becomes. Sure, there are great people who are able to separate that and not let it turn into something, but I think those people are far less than the drama and the leaked calls and all of that we see happening.
Yeah, it's just so gross. Like, I don't understand. Like, I review some of these people, and I feel like I need a shower afterwards, just because I'm just like, this is so fucking gross, And I got this person innocent until proven guilty in my chat just freaking out, dude. Like, calm down. I'm not saying that people can't be friends with parents of missing kids. I'm saying it's irresponsible, in my opinion, for a YouTuber to cross that boundary. Or
oh yeah, I'm not saying people shouldn't be. I mean, there's people that they encounter in their real life and subs or stuff. What I'm talking about is when people then exploit them from those relationships.
Right.
You know, specifically creators that exploit them from those relationships, but maybe even subs who then record phone calls and turn it into creators. So I think that there becomes a exploitation that happens, and that's what I'm talking about when it comes to the drama and the toxicity of it.
that's what I'm saying.
It's a hard
It's
line.
just going to add to it, you know? Like, if you're a YouTuber and you're becoming friends with these, you know, like, I went through that where I you know, but I still set a boundary. You know what I mean? Like, there was this case that really got nasty with YouTubers, really got ugly. And I was in direct contact with the dad a lot, and we spoke behind the scenes a lot, but it was all in reference to his case. If as soon as he started to want to like talk and shoot the shit about life, I'm like, nope, you know, because I want to have that boundary. I don't want a bias,
See,
you know.
I don't know the specifics of it, but I've heard that being referenced towards you a lot. And so you had this relationship with this dad, and what did it become? Drama on YouTube.
Well, and that's the thing is, it
that's
had
my
nothing.
point.
Yeah, like, it had nothing to do with that. What's really funny is I got accused of being friends with the guy, and and it was just, yeah, everybody on YouTube was like, just got so ugly about it. And I mean, but the thing is though, my my the one observation that I had made many times was I was defending the child in that situation. That's the way that I saw it. And nobody who was actually defending the child in that situation and allowing the, you know, looking at the dad as the person to protect that child, nobody on that side of things was doing any doxing or anything like that. But it was all happening from that side of things. We're talking about cease and desists that were bullshit. You know, they weren't even legal. Just all kinds of reasons wanting to silence, which was just strengthening my opinion on what was going on, you know. And I saw a lot of evidence of very nefarious things going on where this man had a legit argument, and he had legit concerns about what was happening. If I hadn't seen all that evidence so much, I would have never even gotten involved, because it wasn't even an actual true crime case. Nobody went missing, nobody was murdered, you know. This was a child that was screaming for help, and it seemed like nobody wanted to help her.
Though, real quick, I have my thought on it though is that when you get in close with a person like that in a case, that it kind of clouds your judgment a little bit. And do you, because I don't know what'll happen in that instance with you and this other guy, and
well, that was the thing is
about it, but do you feel like that your opinions kind of get a little cloudy because of your personal relationship with the individual?
But I didn't have a personal relationship with him. I got accused of having a personal friendship with the guy, but I never did. Just because I spoke to the guy and just because I gave him a platform to speak on did not mean that I was, you know, talking about sports behind the scenes with the guy and shit. You know what I mean? Like, it was all related to his case. Everything that I talked to this guy for hours and hours and hours and hours, but it was all related to his case, you know? But yeah, everyone just got it was so ugly because the drama community got involved. And yeah, that's that's the whole thing. Like, you know, I don't have any issue currently with Queen Bee, but I'm still in a place where I feel like a lot was said that, you know, can't be undone. Like, you can't unring that bell. And, you know, I'm just very wary, put it that way. I like the distance that we have between us, and I'm comfortable with that. And I'm fine with the fact that we have a lot of the same supporters, and and we're cool with creators, some of the same creators, such as yourself.
A mutual respect.
Yeah, that's fine. You know, I'm not okay with, no matter what my opinions of somebody is, I'm not okay with them being doxxed, and I'm not okay with them you know, being slandered. So I think that sucks that happened to her. Uh but you know, overall, you know, like I said, I'm very happy with the distance that we maintain between us. I don't need to be on her panels unless it's an issue that we're all talking about. Like I said, the only reason I went up there before was, to me, that was the scrupulous thing to do. If I was live talking about Summer's Day and I had all these questions about it, why would I not jump on a panel that's happening while I'm doing that, where those very people are there and I can ask them directly? You know,
Right.
if I was just
and I see the question in chat about, you know, how can you do that? Well, that's because, speaking for myself, I'm an adult. I can disagree with a fellow creator on a certain instance or a certain thing that they may have done and still get along with them. I don't agree. Well, I don't have the same opinion of Summer's Day. I can still talk to him and get along with him. And it's the same that I'm seeing, you know, you and Queen had whatever happened between you two. And I'm not even saying you guys can get along, but you can have a respect for each other as creators currently and moving forward. And that's what I've seen anyway. So I don't see why others would have a big issue with it, because if you can move past those things and at least just respect each other's space and domain and not, you know, constantly go back to that old drama.
I mean,
I think that's just being an adult.
My opinion, it stays the same on it, you know, but like you said, we're all adults. We can agree to disagree. It's fine. And it doesn't, my opinion of the character of those creators has not changed either. You know, I just feel like we see the outcome being very different, you know. That's all it is. I just see I have a different perspective on how that's going to go and how it's going to be perceived, and you know, that's it. You know, I don't think that anybody's a bad person or even someone of questionable character for doing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
exactly.
It's perfectly fine. And if I did, I mean, I don't hold back. You know what I mean? Like, I don't hold back if I think someone's a shit bag, you know. But I don't think any of them are bad people at all. You know, not at all, not even a little bit.
No, it's just, I think they have good intentions, and
I hope I'm wrong. I actually hope I'm wrong.
And I hope you're wrong. That's all I'm saying, is I hope it doesn't have a negative outcome, but I do understand what you mean, that you see that it will become YouTube fodder afterwards. I see that, you know, I understand how you came to that conclusion. You know, there's just, you know, there's a creator talking with them about it, and I see her point and what she's trying to do. And I know you respect her as well too. So it's just it is sometimes hard as adults to try to understand different perspectives. And so I get why some people have issues with it, but I don't think it should be that hard all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, people
Kind of like with you and White Boy, you know, you've had this past, whatever it is, right? But right now you have a mutual understanding of this situation with Don, and so you can handle yourselves in such a manner as, you know, getting along and working, not even working together, but just, you know, having that mutual respect to talk about this situation with Don.
Right. I'm not bashing, and I don't want anybody bashing him in here either.
No.
You know, I just but I'll be honest with you, I'm very comfortable with the safe distance we have between us, you know. Just because I don't want to cozy up to somebody doesn't mean that I have a bad opinion of them, and you know, I think it was really nice of him to send people over here and connect me with Don the way that he did. So it was kind of him. I'm not going to overlook that. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, I don't get. I don't know what. I don't understand some people and how they perceive things, but I guess on some things it's just not for me to understand, I suppose, and that's okay too. That's okay too. Like
Yeah, I don't have personal beef with people, dude. You know what I mean? Like I don't have a personal beef with people. I review people who I think are being irresponsible, and that's it, you know. And then I go over cases. That's all I do. You know, I'm not it's not personal. I don't hate anybody, and I'm not, you know, trying to shut anybody down, you know.
I say that often. I don't hate anyone at all. Not on YouTube, not in real life. There might be a couple people I, you know, can't stand or don't get along with, but I typically hate behaviors. I just, you know, there's or not even hate, but just disagree with behaviors and actions on things, and that's what I pay attention to as it pertains to lies and misinformation. And I've seen you doing that as well. I've seen other creators that I like and go up on their panels doing that as well. That doesn't mean that I agree with all of their beliefs. Doesn't mean you agree with all of my beliefs. It just means that there are certain parts where things do.
I mean, I'm a naive idealist, you know, like I look at YouTube as something that can be a really helpful tool in finding missing people, you know, and I want loved ones of missing people, you know, to feel comfortable, you know, going on a YouTube channel and sharing information.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'd like to see a day where that happens, because people are realizing that these are real people involved in a real horrible situation, and it would be a nightmare for anybody to have to experience it. And I simply, you know, I simply hope for a day where I don't even have to do this anymore, you know. I'll find something else to talk about, you know.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Until they stop exploiting families and victims, because it's not just family members. I mean, you know, look at Dylan in the Idaho 4 case. Until that action stops, I don't think you'll ever run out of someone to review.
Yeah, I mean, no, again, I'm a realist. I know it's not going to happen, but I still hope for the day, you know. I mean, if what I'm doing says anything, is that I still hope for it, you know. But
I agree. I think we're all hopeful for that day. So I'll hop off of here. I've been rambling a little while. I just wanted to come up and talk about the statistics a little bit, because I think they get a little misconstrued, and I saw that perfectly kind of touched on them too in the chat, but I know it's easy to kind of lose them in the chat, and I think we have to take those into consideration when we're talking about it. So that's all I was getting at.
Right. No, thanks for calling. I really appreciate it. That was super helpful. It always is.
You guys have a great night.
All right. Bye. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. This was a very long live. I did not expect to be. I mean, I didn't really expect much of anything that happened tonight to happen. So, but I want to throw a thank you out there to Don for joining me and answering questions that I know he's answered a million times and indulging me and you guys. And thanks to White Boy Lockdown Radio for sending people over here. I really appreciate you guys being here. It means a lot. I'm going to wrap this up. I love you guys very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.